585.
sexiest podcast in God on the network. I was going dramatic pause, and then I fucked up my 2-letter word.
Yeah.
My foggy brain needs some more sweet decaf, Brian.
Right. Yeah. That'll perk you right up.
Actually, doesn't taste that bad.
Yeah.
I was sitting there trying to think. I'm like, it's getting cool. I love coffee, but if I drink coffee after like 10:45, I can't sleep. So, I mean,
Yeah.
AM.
Yeah. Right.
So I'm like, fuck it. Let me get some decaf and up in his bitch.
So wild.
All right.
Decaf,
I'm
he
a
says.
sensitive boy.
Yeah.
I do love me some coffee. I can drink coffee all the time as long as it didn't have caffeine in it.
Right.
Whatever.
Lucky for you. Unfortunately for you, I've switched your regular decaf.
Man, you are good. You must have like ninja'd into the store today. Damn, he's good.
Just injected pure caffeine
Pure,
into it.
unadulterated caffeine.
Yep.
Oh, man. How's it going, Brian?
Oh, not too bad.
How did you get your voice back?
Yeah. We, man, Monday I woke up and my throat was so sore, and I had an appointment with my social worker, which is me talking for about 45 minutes, and then like an hour after that, I had an appointment with the psychiatrist psychologist, sorry, that's doing the evaluation on me, and that's another half hour or so of talking, and I'm like, Jesus, after that. I was like, well, we'll see how I feel after that. And dude, my throat was hurting so bad. And I'm like, the last thing I should probably do is talk to Tony for 3 hours now.
the move would have been just to talk to me for probably like 4 hours or something.
Yeah. Oh man, it was sore. I was just, we had some butterscotches here. So I was, just popping those in my mouth left and right.
Did you pull an old man move and get some Werther's
I
originals?
Did. No, it wasn't Werther's. They were just butterscotch.
Chocolate
just
Reasons.
No, but I mean, it was, I was in a bad way, man. It was hurting pretty bad.
Yeah.
A lot of talking this weekend and sitting around a fire that one night. And
what do you mean one night? We did both nights, bro.
Yeah, I mean, not for very long the second night, but
bro.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
Yeah, all that combined, it was just, plus the talking down on our way down and all the talking on the way back. It was just too much. I should have shut my
goddamn pie hole. No.
So yeah, I'm much better now. The whole time I'm talking to the psychologist, we're on FaceTime and I'm just like, yeah. He's like, are you okay? I was like, yeah. When I was in my appointment with the social worker, she kept asking me if I needed some water. I was like, I'm fine.
Do you by chance have a Werther's?
Yeah. Oh, man, that was, I don't know why I didn't take something like that with me, to pop in my mouth for
I don't know, man.
While I was talking. Because, when you're in there, you got to wear a mask.
That's
so
true.
Can't really drinking water all the time or something. I needed just a nice hot cup of tea.
Exactly. One of those old school rolls of Lifesavers in the paper. They still make those. You always remember getting that, and you like try to fold like the end over, and you pull it out of your pocket, still covered in lint and shit. But you're like, it's the cherry
those
one,
are the
so
best.
Whatever. We're gonna deal with this.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right.
I don't know if they still make those.
What are you gonna do? I don't know. I'm sure they still make Lifesavers.
I just don't know. I just don't know if they have that dirty roll of them.
What they need is a little something that's got a resealable gimmick or something on it.
Yeah, like an M&M mini
or something you could
twist full of Lifesavers. Bro.
Yeah, or something you could at least twist.
Why hasn't Lifesaver collaborated with Pez?
I don't know. It's where you pop lifesavers out of the Pez
like it'd be
dispensers.
like
That'd be tasty.
cylindrical, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, why not?
I'd be down for that because, lifesavers at least have some decent
Pez
flavor to them.
tastes like, I know, Hobie, if you're listening, and we know you are.
Cover your ears. Yeah.
Pez tastes like hot trash.
Most of them do, yeah. I've had a couple that weren't too bad, but most of them are pretty hot trash.
It's almost like eating that little nub in the chalk tray. You know, that's what it feels like.
Which I do also.
Yeah,
but
who's going to let
delicious.
that nub go to waste? That learning nub?
Teacher's about to throw it in the trash. You're like, wait.
Slow down.
Your mouth.
She's got the little nub. She's going to switch it to our chunk of chalk. And she's like, hey, you going to finish that?
Yeah.
What?
Like, what
it's
you
hard
mean
for
by
you to
that?
hold on to the right. No. I mean, but you going to finish that.
You go eat that. Like, no.
Why the fuck?
Neither should you. Yeah.
Well, it's Wednesday, which is way later than we normally record.
True.
Because like we were just talking about, you done did jacked up your vocals.
Yeah.
And then yesterday I dealt with Bedageddon, basically. We got,
nice.
We pulled the trigger on a new mattress and a new bed, and got delivered yesterday. And let me tell you something, Brian. This guy right here in the black T-shirt with my first knife fight on it is a dumb motherfucker. Because my ass, when we bought the bed, I'm like, well, how much is delivery? And they're like, well, it's this much. I'm like, all right. And they said it was a number, and I was like, that's so much for delivery. But that was delivery and assembly.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, and then it was like way less just for delivery. So I'm like, well, duh. My whole life I've been building my own furniture because, white trash idiot. We buy solder, we buy IKEA. If it has an Allen wrench and particle board, I've put it together. Right.
Yeah, right.
So I'm like, well, I'll just build it. It's fine. Yeah, I got home from work, changing the shorts because it was hot yesterday. And I usually get home about 5. I took a break to eat dinner, but I wasn't done officially with cleanup and everything until like 10:15. I was hating life. I was so sore and dead. Yeah, it sucked, man. What a fucking idiot. That would have been worth the upcharge.
Yeah, it sounds like it would have been.
But bed's awesome. Although, hey, it's been a long time since I bought a mattress. Like, I dare say the last time I bought a mattress, and I wasn't even buying it, I was just helping you transport it, was the one that we got for you, however many years ago that was.
Yeah, 3 or 4, 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
So when I got home from work and I went out on the porch to look at the boxes, I'm like, I don't see a mattress out here. I'm like, maybe it's inside. Now, mattresses come in boxes now, bro.
No matter, wow, I thought that was just like those purple and, those brands.
No, it was weird. Like, I had this big, tall, squarish box, and when it was time to put, it was heavy as fuck, but it was time to put the mattress on, you, like, cut the box open, you have this just roll, and you get it on your bed, and it's wrapped in, I don't know, 100 yards of cellophane. And you just have to start unwrapping it. So I got Michelle spinning it as I'm pulling on it. And eventually you get to the mattress, which is vacuum sealed. And as soon as it starts, like, you unroll it on the bed, you can hear it, like sucking in air. And then I cut the plastic, and the thing just started inflating. It was weird.
Yeah. Did it like go all the way, or like, because like those purple mattresses and stuff, I've heard that once you unfurl them, that you basically have to give them like 24 or so hours to fully expand. I mean, like they tell you,
I want to say it's probably 100% now, but I mean, it was basically like the slutty girl on prom night. It went all the way.
Nice.
Yeah, baby. Because I even told Michelle, I'm like, I don't care if this thing's not inflated all the way. We're sleeping on it tonight. Because I'm like, what else are we going to do? What am I gonna go sleep on the
You
floor in the
probably
living room? You know.
trim like 5 years off the life of the mattress.
But no, it like inflated really quick.
Okay.
It's crazy.
That's wild. I didn't know that. Like I said, I knew that those ones you see on TV or hear about on
Yeah, they
most
come like a little
podcasts,
box. And
those beds. Yeah, because you see it like they show it in their commercials on TV, like people unrolling
yeah,
them basically. But I've heard that like they don't tell you ahead of time. Like if you're getting one of those, like I said, you're supposed to give it I think 24 to 48 hours to fully
to
to
breathe.
rise.
Yeah, it's like good bread dough.
And it's like, what do you like? You said it's like, where the fuck am I supposed to sleep in the meantime? I already threw the other mattress out.
Well, I mean, it was like if it stayed super thin, it would have been like, well, you take the couch. I'll either go upstairs and sleep in Leah's bed, or we'll figure it out.
Bathtub.
Yeah, bathtub.
Mm-hmm.
But it inflated so quick. I was just like, whatever. And we like, just made it. And I went outside, started cutting up boxes for like half hour or something. I don't know. It was a nightmare yesterday.
Oh yeah, I imagine.
Nightmare.
I bet there's a lot.
And now I've got 5 giant garbage bags in my back of my car, just full of styrofoam and plastic, shit that the earth don't like. That I'm basically just going to take to work and just wing in her dumpster.
Oh, I thought you were going to set it on fire somewhere to really complete the process of killing Mother Earth
just
with
do it the slow way, slow, painful death.
Slow. All right, that's fair.
I mean, I feel bad doing that, but it's like, what are you supposed to do with all that shit?
What are you supposed to do with it? Yeah, exactly. It's not like, you can't break down that styrofoam or whatever yourself and do anything good with it. Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, you could eat it.
Doesn't taste good.
No? All right. A little hot sauce on it?
I didn't try hot sauce. Try gravy. Because it kind of looked mashed potato.
Never mind. like what the hell did you serve with this steak? I say just shut up and eat your mashed potatoes.
Shut your
This doesn't taste like mashed potatoes.
This is the worst lentils I've ever had.
Right? Yeah, you just crumble it way up.
Those little pellets.
It's quinoa, damn it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but that's why we didn't record yesterday, because I was dealing with that shit. So here we are today. Happy hump day, everybody.
Well, it's a good thing. It's a good thing we didn't go ahead and plan for yesterday. We're like, it'll only take me a couple hours. I should be fine by 8 o'clock.
In my head, I was like, it's only going to take me a couple hours. Meanwhile, back in Realityville.
5 years later.
And honestly, it was an easy thing to put together because we got a storage bed, so, it has drawers. The pieces I had the drawers, because in my I was thinking about it at work. I'm like, oh, you dumbass! You're gonna have to put all those rails on. You got to build all the drawers.
Oh,
that stuff came assembled. It was like, but I still had to put all the legs on stuff. I had to put the headboard together. You had to connect everything. I mean, it still was a process.
Yeah. So you had to screw the headboard into the wall, you mean?
Well, yeah, no. I had to put the legs and shit on,
Oh, right. I thought headboards just screwed into the wall.
Right? Not. I mean, we'll get to that for sure.
Yeah, yeah, I know. That was a foreshadow.
But yeah, so I mean, we should just start talking about our bomb ass weekend though. So it's gonna obviously be. Oh my god, I should pull up see if anyone's joining us on the live chat. I didn't pull it up.
Yeah, should be the bulk of our conversation, probably.
Certainly assume so.
Yeah. Yeah. Apparently, Cheeto's doing family stuff.
This is bullshit. That's okay.
Didn't he spend enough time with them over the weekend?
He has so much family over there for the weekend.
I know. It's terrible. What a time, though.
Yeah, it was good stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah. So, for anyone who doesn't have any idea, because we didn't really talk a ton about it. So, we headed to visit, one of our listeners, longtime friend, first time caller, Cheeto Bandito. We went and visited him, and that was
him and his kinfolk.
His kinfolk. Yep. I went down home as I said, although not as down home as I usually go in order to visit my family. I didn't because I was all silly goose and confused as far as which part of West Virginia we went to. So, and I was way off.
It happens to the best of us.
Yeah, which is fine, But it was before we get into anything else, man, I'll tell you what. I I had forgotten so much how hilly that damn state
Oh,
is.
for sure, right?
How everywhere we seemed to stand did not feel like
Level
flat
ground, go
ground. It
fuck
felt like,
yourself.
yeah. I was never happier than on our ride home when we were like, oh man, everything's flat
Right?
again. So, but yeah. So yeah, we took off on Friday, headed down, had a nice trip, listened to some good music, made fun of a lot of things as
Hold
we do.
on.
And well,
We
you
we
got
didn't
more?
even leave the city yet, and we already have something we got to discuss.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about
Because
that.
we're
Yeah.
like, we already had forewarning from Senor Bandito that he had ribs and all kinds of other fixins like ready to go for us.
Vixens.
Because the
Yeah, right.
original plan that I came up with Brian before we left was like, hey, we'll leave, and like halfway there we'll find a brewery or something, get some food, and then we'll get there. And then I was like, well,
Right.
with Cheeto making all these fixins, I can't, in good reason, like eat 2 hours before that. I'd feel like a
Yeah,
real
because
dick
then we'll
bag.
get there and be like, yeah, I'd be like, well, I guess I'll have like one bone and a spoon of something
Yeah,
else.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah, right,
So, but I mean, I got out of work early. I didn't eat lunch. I didn't eat breakfast. You didn't eat lunch.
right. Also, in fairness, it's like when somebody's like, hey, y'all, I got ribs a cooking. Like, we're gonna make sure we got
Yeah,
some
although
room.
I'm kind of sad I didn't eat
You know?
more ribs. I'll be honest. I got kind of just
Yeah, me too.
distracted by everything else.
Yeah, I should have packed myself
Yeah,
stupid on ribs, and
same.
I didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hindsight is old. I'm sorry. But so yeah, so we're like, well, because I was like, well, we'll just find something on the way. And I'm like, you know what? We're gonna drive right through downtown Toledo, basically. Just go grab some lunch down there. So we went to ye old Irish pub, the Blarney, which haven't been there in a while. Forgot how
Mm,
much I enjoyed it.
yeah,
And your neighbors at the bar, Brian.
they were
Yeah,
something. Three guys just at lunchtime, like getting
shots,
crazy
doing
day drunk,
shots.
like doing shots in the middle of the damn day, and which hey, whatever. But they were already, at least one of the guys was pretty messy already, and they were just kept bringing more, and I was like, oh boy, like I sure hope this guy's not
Or
driving
maybe,
home,
hopefully, he is all by himself on a road full of telephone poles.
right to the yeah,
Yeah,
right into the river, yeah.
exactly. Right about then, them there Duke
uh,
boys didn't make that jump. Ding ding.
yeah. Credits. um Man, the whole time they were sitting there just, I mean, they're having a time. Like, I can't get too mad at, when you're just having a good time with your boys or whatever, but it was like they just, every time they referred to a woman, they had to refer to her as some broad or that broad or whatever. And listen, anyone who's listened a long time knows Tony and I will do that occasionally too, but we're doing it usually making fun of
Yeah.
Neanderthals like that,
She's just like, oh, that
you know.
fucking broad. Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these guys were like, it wasn't some like act they were putting on. This was like their common lingo. And even the bartender, who was a nice
Broad.
lady, she a few times kind of looked at him like, really,
Right.
asshole? So yeah, it was just, man, I was sitting there and I'm just shaking my head the whole time, and Tony's like, I just can't wait to hear about this, because he couldn't understand or hear him as well as I
I can only
could.
hear
And
one guy. This guy.
yeah, oh yeah, everybody in that car,
Loud laugh
yeah,
guy.
everybody,
Fuck that guy.
yeah, it was, everybody
Yeah.
heard that guy. It wasn't just his laugh. When he talked, he was at that volume because he was
Well, yeah,
drunk,
for sure.
you know. And like you and I both, pretty much are in agreement on, he's probably that loud normally, and then another level of loud drunk, you know, because he for sure was
Oh,
tying him
I
on.
mean, like you said, they all were.
Yeah. But man, I was so happy to get away from those douchebags.
I'm looking up where broad came from.
Oh, all right.
Because I'm just
I don't
like,
know,
I don't
trying to learn.
understand. Oh, okay. It comes from American English for abroad wife. So it's like,
Okay.
a woman away from her husband.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, I see.
So and then just
So she literally was
abroad.
abroad. Okay.
And then just,
Wow.
yeah. Because I'm,
Wow.
I'm
All
sitting there and
right.
we're like,
Well,
hey, that broad. I'm like, where did this come from?
yeah, there you go.
Now it's like,
Knowledge gone.
boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, those guys were turds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure.
What I do know is my patty melt was excellent.
Yeah. Yeah. That hamburger I had was a monster of a double patty because I expected it to be thin, kind of smash burgery, and it sure
Yeah,
wasn't.
that burger head, it kind of almost looked like a basketball. It was huge.
Yeah. Jesus. I thought I was gonna have you stab it a few times while I held it in order to be able to eat it. That thing was so damn
Yeah,
huge
dude,
though. But yeah, it was
fucking huge.
really tasty though. Real tasty. So that's all you
Plus,
can ask
I
for.
needed my pre-road trip Guinness. Duh.
Obviously. Yeah.
Duh.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Makes
right.
sense to me.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, what's what sticks out to me most about our little road trip there?
What's that?
Was the weird route Waze took us on because we ended
Oh
up
yeah.
driving basically along the Ohio River for quite a while and going through all these small.
Yeah.
We drove under a fucking factory. That was weird.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Never
a
seen a
first.
road go under a factory before.
I've been to West Virginia. I don't know how many times. Now, granted, where we usually go is further south. So usually you go further south in Ohio before you cut
Right.
over, basically. Um, yeah,
Yeah, that was a weird route.
that was
Weird
something.
route down there. I mean, we definitely saw
Yeah,
some things in some of those towns.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess looking back, that adds to it though, right? It gave the trip a little personality rather than just here's some hills or mountains or
True.
whatever. But yeah, driving under the factory that was like I said, that was the first time I can think of I've
Yeah,
ever
I've
done
never. I
that.
mean, like I've obviously driven under. Like you go to Detroit Airport, you drive underneath the runways and stuff in a tunnel
Yeah,
like that.
right.
But as we're
Yeah,
just driving towards it, I'm like, we're going under that building.
like,
That's
under that
weird.
building. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's so
Yeah, that was
so
weird.
weird. Yeah, but hey,
Yeah, whatever.
yeah, that was for sure a good smelling
Oh
area
my
too.
god. Do you like chemicals? Who doesn't?
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
But yeah, so what? We arrived in our destination.
Yep, to our palatial hotel.
Sure looked palatial on the internet, Brian.
It looked really nice
It
from the
did.
outside.
And the lobby looked like
Actually,
very cool.
when we pulled up, I was like, I was like, oh, this place is pretty dope. This is really our vibe.
Meanwhile,
Meanwhile, we traveled back
yes,
50
as soon
years.
as you
No, you know what? Probably 70 years. I'm thinking 50 years, like it's still in the 90s.
oh yeah, no, you're right.
No,
Yeah, like
you probably back to the 60s for this or
yeah,
so.
it was like as soon as we got on that tiny elevator with the mirrored walls, I was like, oh.
Yeah, it was great for the sex in there though.
Yeah. Now we're
Yeah.
talking.
It was funny though because it's like you and I got in there with all our shit, and I was like, man, there's not really room for much else in here. Like we could cram one more. And then when that woman got in with us at one point, one of the trips, I was like, holy shit, this is really it. Like we're pretty full up in here right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that was weird because we did have our luggage going up to the room, and here she comes. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, and we're like,
Yeah.
like, all right. I guess she can sit on the luggage.
Not gonna lie, if it was just some like dude, I probably would just let the door close.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. But since it was a fucking broad, I held my arm out, and I honestly held my arm out in the hopes this ancient elevator wasn't just gonna chop my hand off.
Yeah, it doesn't have any sensors in it. It just shuts no matter
Right.
what.
Now that I think about it.
Just right out in the lobby, they just see your arm fall down, and the guy at the desk is like, and goes and gets like
Yeah,
the
just like
mop.
one of those little butlers with the broom and the dustpan.
Yep.
There's like two other hands
Throws
in
it into the. Yeah, I was gonna say sweeps it into the empty limb receptacle, or empty extra limb empty. It's been a week.
Hey. But yeah, it was. I mean,
Oh, man.
it's not a terrible place to stay, but I don't think I'd ever stay there again.
Well, it was kind of funny though, like going back to the woman in the elevator, because she's like, "Are you guys going to the show?" And I was like, I couldn't understand where she was asking us if we were going, but I knew we weren't going to any sort of a show, so I was like, "Nope." And she goes, "Oh," and and then when she got out, Tony was like, "Where did she?" I'm like, "I don't know." But she had like some death metal T-shirt on and stuff, so and. So Tony, being the detective he is, jumps on the Googs and finds out that there was, what was that called? Symphonica?
It was like Symphonic Metallica was playing in the area somewhere.
Yeah. And Tony's rocking a Metallica shirt, and then we're both like, oh,
it all makes
like,
sense now.
We had no clue.
We're just here to hang out with our dude.
Yeah. I mean, we went by the theater in the area we stayed, and there was a lot of people going there for, what was it for? It was a Harry Potter. They were playing the soundtrack.
Yeah, Harry Potter nonsense.
Yeah, they were playing the music from Harry Potter.
Sounds like a terrible time.
Yeah, but a lot of people were heading that way for sure.
People love Harry Potter, I guess.
Yeah, that for sure. And then, on a real quick last side note, we also found out that the Toledo Walleye, our hockey team, was
also in town,
playing in town for the weekend. So we were like, this is crazy, that apparently we brought all the entertainment to that area.
When the most electrifying duo on the East Coast of America shows up, what do you expect?
It's true. Yeah.
And I said East Coast, I meant just East Side.
East Side, yeah. That place was buzzing. They didn't know how to handle it. Annie's booming, or Abby's, sorry.
Abby's. But yeah, it was I don't know, man. We walked in a room, it was hot as balls. The air conditioner barely worked.
And it was from like 1846.
Yeah, for sure. I'm pretty sure if you open up, there's just an ice block in there.
I told my brother last night, I was telling him about it, and I was like, I think we would have been better if we had just walked in and there was a fan and a bucket of ice to just hang ice
for
cubes
sure.
in front
Built
of it.
A swamp cooler or something.
At least we would have felt some of the breeze, because like I told you, I was on the far bed, and if I laid on the far edge, I could feel a little bit of the air moving to where it had hit the wall and was moving. But pretty much anywhere else in that room, you couldn't really. Well, I take it back, over in that little corner where the chair was. If you sat there, you could feel the air. Everywhere else, it was like it didn't exist.
Fortunately for me, all I have to do is basically hit a light switch and I'm asleep. So,
yeah. Unfortunately for me, I was dying that first night. I was like, oh my God, it's so hot.
I might have a stroke.
Yeah. I mean, I was really tempted to go in and take like a frosty shower to see if that would help, because like I just need long enough to fall asleep, but I need to get cool enough to fall asleep, and I was like, God, I just want some air moving around, and there was none. So second night, there was a lot of air moving around in that room because Tony was snoring like a wildebeest, but that was all hot air though. Yeah. And I guess in fairness, I should say I'm lucky because at least it was from that end.
That's what you think.
Oh, damn it, you're a ventriloquist. Now that's a talent. You sit there, fart all night, and make it sound like a snore. That's brilliant. Like, dude, you got some funky ass breath. Like, oh, that wasn't my breath.
What?
Like, all right. No, it was. Ooh, boy, though.
It was great, though, because as soon as, I alerted Cheeto that we were there, he's like, oh, we can come get you. I'm like, I already got an Uber. And apparently, I didn't find this out until after we arrived at his place. Everyone was fascinated that we got an Uber.
Yeah. I thought that was hilarious too when you were like, yeah, Uber, and everybody was like, oh, there's an Uber, like they do that
Like,
there.
holy shit.
Like we are in a small town. That's when the joke became our driver's name was Jonathan, and the joke for the weekend was that he was the only
Yep,
Uber
about
driver
ready
in
to
the
call
city.
Jonathan.
So
We got to go.
yeah, even though it wasn't, we had different
We
people
did.
each
We
time.
did.
But yeah,
But yeah, it was, I mean, it was pretty cool pulling up to, you know, Cheeto's place. I'm going to call it Casa de Cheeto. And,
right.
you know, his family couldn't be more welcoming.
Yeah,
And, you know,
seriously.
we got to meet his dope ass neighbors and hang out with
Yeah,
Charlie,
yeah,
his cool dog.
yep.
And, man, I just couldn't get over, you know, his wife. She's such a sweetheart. Oh,
Hmm.
just when you guys are ready to go, just wake me up.
Yeah,
Would we leave that first night? I'm not
2:30.
doing that.
Yeah, she went to bed what, probably like midnight or
Yeah.
so, maybe earlier than that, and was like, just come wake me up, and just the later, but we didn't even know what time it was at the
Yeah,
time
for sure.
when she went to bed. She wasn't like, hey guys, it's midnight, I'm going to bed. It was very, well, I'm gonna head off to bed or whatever it was, and then we're like, man, 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 and then finally you look, you're watching, you're like, what was
Yeah,
it,
I was
like,
like,
holy
Jesus
shit, it's
Christ.
2:30. So we're just sitting out back, having some beers,
Crushing
and
beers, just sitting around a
just
fire.
having a time. Yeah, just having a time, with some good dudes and good conversation,
And
and
well, and it all started. We got there, we got toured the place a little bit, and we just sat in the
yeah,
garage, drank some beers. Then we had, you know, those awesome ribs and that sweet
yeah,
potato hash. Oh boy, the
yeah.
corn.
That
Yeah,
corn
we
was
just
delicious
like
too. Yeah.
crushing some awesome food.
Trust food. Yeah.
You know, Cheeto's neighbor's wife was like a premier baker, and she brought over a cheesecake.
Oh man, that
Oh
thing was
man, I was
killer.
just like,
Yeah.
oh boy,
We ate
we
like
ate like
kings that first night.
kings,
Sure.
salty
Yeah.
kings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a good night. But I
Yeah.
mean, we discussed it the next day. We crushed a lot of beers. Never once did I catch a
Yep.
buzz. Not that I'm chasing that dragon, but I kind of thought I
Right.
was gonna, you know, high five it a little bit. Never once really
Yeah.
caught a buzz
Nope.
that night.
No, I never really
Like
did either. Yeah.
as a goof, I bought some Alka Seltzer hangover relief because I've never seen it before.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, this
Right.
actually, if this works, this could come in handy. Never needed it.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, really quick, can you refresh your
Huh?
camera? Your
No.
camera's frozen, or at least
It
on my
must be
screen
just
it's
on
frozen. I don't
Skype.
know. Why it'd be. Okay, well that's not so
Yeah,
bad
it's like,
then.
let me see if I can find it though.
Yeah. Yeah, we got back to that room that first night, and man, you were pretty much like, was it doing your whatever game thing, and you're just like nodding while you're doing it, and it's like, oh boy, I don't think
No,
he's
I
gonna
was
make
not.
it.
I felt like I was dying. I mean,
Yeah.
you know me, Brian. If it gets to goddamn 11 o'clock, I'm like, woo, man,
Yeah.
I'm bushed, everybody.
It's so late.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
to be up to 2:30, like I used to do once upon a time, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was similar though. I mean, man, I sat there and did in one of the games I have, there's like, daily things, and I barely made it through mine. I think I was up about half an hour to an hour longer than you.
Right.
And I was out. I mean, I had a hard time kind of falling asleep, but once I fell asleep, I was done,
Dunsky.
for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a hell of a night though.
Well, until, the sun started coming up, and even with those blinds closed, it was still like someone turned halogen beams on us.
Yeah, that was a big problem because I think I was up. Yeah, I don't think it'll let me refresh this in Skype.
Oh, it's working now,
Oh, okay.
so don't worry.
It'd be a shame for me to have to hang up.
Yeah. No, you should be able to, like, there's usually icons at the bottom that'll show like a camera, and usually you can turn it off and on. That's what. Well, on mine, I forgot you're using a Mac. I'm on a PC, so.
Anyway. Yeah. So it was like I think I woke up like 8:30 or 9 Saturday morning.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I wasn't gonna, part of me was like, I should just go wake up.
Right.
We got a party. But
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, I don't know. I didn't know how late you stayed up. I'm like, fuck it, I'll just let him sleep.
You just wake me up, hand me a beer. I'm like, fucker, get up, let's
Well,
go.
let's go.
All right.
I
I
almost,
just
I was this close to bringing Bloody Mary fixings, but I didn't. It was that close.
man, that would have been some get some bloodies in the room before we
Yeah,
go.
seriously.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I'm like, when I booked this place, it said, hey, we got breakfast in the lobby. I'm like, I'm just gonna, I text you like, hey man, I'm gonna go upstairs to find some coffee just in case you got up.
Right.
And I like took a shower, put on my clothes, and I went downstairs like, all right, where's this breakfast at? Boy, was I disappointed when you have one carafe of coffee and like two muffins. Like,
Yeah.
you fucking kidding me right now?
I mean, it technically is a
It
breakfast, but
technically is.
most of the time, if a place tells you they've got a breakfast, usually there's like muffins, bagels, maybe a couple donuts. They usually have a little assortment, to pick from at kind of minimum, or at least they'll have like, box cereal or something.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Maybe I've been spoiled, but the places I've stayed at recently, they have like a hot breakfast laid out on a buffet.
Yeah.
And
Right.
it's not the best, but it's something,
Right.
you know. So I was,
That's the thing. It's usually like if I stay in a place like that and it's like, and we're gonna get up, it's like, well, let's just eat breakfast here, even if it is kind of hot garbage, because
it's already paid for, basically.
it's paid for. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was just like, fuck. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna go back upstairs, and I'm just gonna grab my hoodie. I'm just gonna, I found a coffee shop nearby. So I went on a
Mm.
little walkabout through, the center of the town. And, yeah, it was all right. It was cool. I got to see some cool shit. Took a bunch of pictures
Yeah.
for Michelle, and I just kind of wandered around the Ohio River, and I did find a good coffee shop. Got a nice cup of coffee and a biscotti like a fucking gentleman.
Right. Right.
Yeah, it was a good time. And I wandered down to where the market area was because I just, I was up. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what am I going to do? Just like sit in a room and like just stare?
Yes.
Or I was like, oh, fuck, I'm just going to walk around. And then, eventually I got a text from Cheeto that was like, hey, man, this place opens up at like noon or something. I was like, meet you there. And I was like, yeah, all right. I was like, I didn't know what. Oh wait, no, I came back again because I had to get some stuff for his celebration, and I hopped in the car and went to Target. That's what it was.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And picked up some goodies. And then that's when I heard from him, and I was like, I'm not sure I didn't know if you were awake yet, or I figured you probably weren't because he didn't like respond to me.
I sure wasn't.
So I came back and I like dropped off the shit and I walked down to where this brewery was at, and I just, he was like, "Oh, we'll pick you up," and I'm like, "I'm already here," I'm already down here. It's cool. I'm wandering around looking at stuff, and I just, I went in there and I had a beer, and then he showed up and we ate some delicious fish sandwiches from a little local fishmonger. Had another beer, and yeah, it was like the kickoff of the day. And then that's when I heard from you. So yeah, I had his lovely wife drop me off at the hotel, and then you and I reconvened.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Then we found a taco joint right up the street from us.
Man.
Which, man, whoo boy, those were some good tacos.
I mean, I was just happy to have walking tacos on the menu because I love a walking taco.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe they had that Founders beer. Like Founders, for those of you who don't know, is a delicious brewery out of Michigan, right here. And they have a barrel age series, and they're hard to find these beers sometimes. And they had a ton of them in this cooler. I bought one to go for Cheeto because he was telling me he was looking for it. I couldn't believe they had it.
Yeah, I know. And some like little taqueria that we found out later, like has a food truck behind it, and that's where they do the prep cook inside the place, but they do most of the assembling and all the other stuff out in a food truck out back, which was wild. Because when we were in there, they just had this little stove and some, or oven and a couple induction burners, and I'm like, there's no way they do this whole restaurant on this. Also, because like when we ordered, the guy who was there, he was cooking beef on one of the induction burners, and I'm like, I don't see him doing any other cooking. So it's like, where, like, how long is this food gonna
Right.
take? Because I'm like, you know, like, because I'm thinking, oh well, maybe they've already got stuff kind of prepped, and then like 2 seconds later, the server's just like, here's your food, and I'm like, oh. Like, all right, they must have a kitchen in the back. Maybe they just need the extra burners or something,
Right.
So yeah, and then we found out later that they started as a food truck and actually just parked the food truck behind the building and do a bunch of the work there. I was like, oh. And it's funny because, when I'm not near home, I tend to like, I'm gonna order pretty mild stuff because, I have tummy issues sometimes. So I'm like, well, I'm looking at all these different tacos, like the burrito tacos and different ones, and I'm like, oh, this sounds so good. But sometimes that stuff's no bueno for me. So I was like, well, I'll get the chicken tacos. Dude, that first one I had was hot. And I don't mean like, hey, I'm ultra white, so it's hot to me. That first one was hot. Like it was making my eyes water a little bit. The second one had good heat to it. I think it was I don't remember which sauce. I think the orange sauce might have been a habanero
That
sauce.
would make sense. Be the right
And I
pepper
think
color.
that's what I think I got a hold of the first one. I may not be right. I don't know. But the first one made me, I was like, oh man, I hope all three are not like
Jesus,
this.
is that you?
So I don't know if you know, like I was putting away my beer pretty quick because I was needing something to kind of cool that off. Really, what I needed was just like a little squirt of some like sour cream or something. And I don't know why I didn't ask for it because she offered me their what was it? It was like Chipotle ranch or something. And I'm like, well, if there's any heat in these, I don't want more heat. And also, I don't like ranch.
That's one thing we learned is boy did they like ranch in that area of the country.
Yeah.
Like everywhere we went out to eat, which we only went to 2 places.
Yeah. So that's a fair cross.
Yeah, I mean it is. Let's be honest. Fucking
man,
ranch
yeah,
everywhere, bro. Says the guy who made chicken bacon ranch like skillet for dinner tonight.
Right?
Yeah.
See, it's just a white people thing, like you said, white person hot sauce.
Exactly.
Yeah. So but the second one had good heat and and everything. And all of them tasted amazing. Like even with the heat in that first one, it still was tasty.
That's all that matters.
So it wasn't just it wasn't like super hot only. But they were really good. And the third one was the green sauce, and that one had I could taste more at that point because it was less burny. Right. But like I said, all three of them were really good. I thought it was kind of cool to do that, where each taco, I didn't order them with different sauces. That's just how they serve them, which I thought was kind of cool. Here you can taste the different sauces. But they were really good. So, yeah, and you devoured your walking taco pretty quick, so I assume
it was very tasty. And I really wish I had room for tacos, but I had that like fish sandwich and fries like an hour before that, and I was just like not feeling it,
Yeah. Also, they stuffed those tacos that I got had quite a bit in them, because that was the other thing was I was like, oh, I'll get 3 tacos. Most places don't put a lot in the tacos, something like 3 is decent. We'll get to Cheeto's house. I'll still have room in case we eat early, or whatever. And but like when we got there, I'm like, God, I'm so full. That's why we're like, oh, do you want a beer? And in my head, I'm kind of like, no, I really don't. Like I'm so full right now.
Right.
But I mean,
well, you have to.
We have to, yeah. So yeah, then he made a mess of food on the grill, and people, I like they had sides. He made that cowboy caviar, which was fantastic. Which, by the way, we should post up a little recipe for that. You should put that on the blog.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I'm gonna look it up right now. But
well, Cheeto, I know you're listening.
He's not. He's doing family
live.
shit. He already.
This is tomorrow.
It's
future
tomorrow.
Cheeto.
Sorry, I didn't realize. I didn't have future.
I don't know
Cheeto.
if you have a special cowboy caviar recipe or if you just like Googled it. But if you have a special recipe, pass it along to me, and I will put it up on Recipe Genie.
Yeah. Yeah, because I got one pulled up here, so I'll real quick just run down what it is in case, like me, you had never had it before. It's very colorful and delicious. Now this one's a little different, I think, because this one's got avocado in it. I don't think
No,
his did.
definitely did.
All right, you scroll way the hell down to the bottom. Anyway, the recipe for this one is Roma tomatoes, avocados, red onion, black beans, black-eyed peas, frozen sweet corn that you've thawed, which you could just use fresh corn. That's fine too. One bell pepper, a jalapeno, and some cilantro. His, I think he said, had parsley in it, if I'm not mistaken. But then a little olive oil, lime juice, red wine vinegar, sugar, salt, pepper, garlic powder, and tortilla chips. This one's a little different because it looks like instead of
makes its own dressing.
Huh? Yeah, exactly. Versus the ones I've seen before were very much like just use Italian dressing.
Yeah, that's the same time I've made it, so what I've used too.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at this other recipe that came up here. I picked that one because it had the most reviews. But
so yeah, future Cheeto.
Yeah,
like I said, if you got a special recipe, let me know and I'll post it up on our thing.
Yeah, this other one I'm looking at is similar to it. Makes its own dressing because the dressing's stupid easy to make.
Yeah, for sure.
When you just heard me describe the ingredients, but man, was that tasty with some just some corn chips.
Refreshing.
But Jesus, I could see putting that with like a little. I could just spoon some of that into a tortilla with some chicken.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And I'd be a happy boy. So you wouldn't even need the chicken. Again, the beans are the protein. You really wouldn't even need something else. But it was refreshing. It was light. It was tasty. So yeah.
And Cheeto perfected the hot dog burn end.
Yes.
Yeah. Unlike ours blew up on the launch pad.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
He dialed it in, and they were really good.
They were really good, and it even got rid of one of my main things, which was the
shape.
The hot dog. No, the hot dogness of the hot dogs was still a little bit there. And I think on his, I think he caramelized them enough that I think it kind of lost that to where it really felt. It didn't feel as much like you were eating a hot dog, but man, were they tasty!
And boy, was everyone skeptical.
Yeah, but boy, was that pan near empty.
Oh yeah, for sure, right?
People were crushing it. So, yeah, it was.
The day two hang. It was exactly like what I miss about going to my parents' cottage.
Oh, you aren't kidding,
stuff
dude.
that I actually want to have at the house here, but just because, COVID and then just people drifting apart. It's almost hard to do something like that. I guess maybe I'm not trying hard enough. I don't know.
Well, like I said to you, it's like we used to have a group that rolled pretty deep, and we used to do kind of stuff like that, where we'd all get together, just have a time, hang out until wee hours of the morning, and things changed in life, and we don't really roll deep as a group anymore. There's, it's like you, me, and Michelle most of the time. Right? That's our group.
And I have done in the past like invites to people, and it's usually, I can't, busy, this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, life changes, and that's fine. But man, it was it was so good for like I was telling you on the way back. It was like, dude, that was so good for the soul.
Yeah, and what was best is like all of Cheeto's family and friends that were there. Like everyone there was really cool. They were fun,
so welcoming.
Good to talk to, easy to talk to, and I never felt like a weird vibe from anybody.
No, there was at no point where I was like, I have to be over here.
Everybody was super welcoming and nice, and it was really cool.
It really did feel like we were just reconvening with old friends.
Sure, yeah, it was nice.
It really did. Even though we had never met I had never met anybody there. Mm-hmm. Well, on day two, I mean, obviously I had met, Cheeto and the family, but other than that, it was like we hadn't met those people, and they were, like you said, could not have been nicer. And then, on day three, when it was like, oh yeah, we're gonna go have lunch before we leave, and various people were like, oh cool, we'll join you. So it's like, well, that's cool. We didn't drive anybody off that we know of, so that's seemingly good. Yeah. Or if we did, they were still nice enough to not let us know.
Right. Yeah, right. Exactly.
So good on you for that.
Yeah, it was a great time. And it's
Yeah.
definitely something like, obviously, we know Cheeto from the internet, and I had brunch
Yeah.
from that one time. But this extended weekend hang, it's like, oh yeah, this is something that should happen more often. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a great time.
For sure. I mean, it doesn't have to be on the scale that it was on or anything like that, but it was still it was
Oh
a hell of
yeah,
a
it was
time.
great. It was great.
And I can fully understand why the yearly
Oh, his big cookout he
cookout
does.
thing that he does. Yeah, I can see why that's such a winner because with the group that was involved, if most of them are there or whatever, it's like, yeah, I bet it's a time every
Oh yeah,
time.
for sure.
So
Yeah, it was cool. Good ass
we for
people. I'm glad to have met them all. Can't even talk.
oh boy, Tony's getting the old
I know,
fat
right?
tongue.
I also had the privilege, and you said the same thing, and I had to think back, and you're 100% right. I had the privilege of seeing and interacting with the biggest dog I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my god, right? No question either. The funny part is like what's great is like, all right, so we went over to Cheeto's neighbors with him because they were watching the dogs for them. And you see the first dog and it's a bloodhound and it's a good sized
Yeah,
dog. Not huge, but a good, a normal, like about probably similar-ish in size to your
yeah.
dog. You know, like, okay, fine. I've been around plenty of dogs that size, even though this one was very, hey, good to meet you. I'm now going to bury my nose in all of
Well,
your orifices, as we were
and,
warned. Derek did warn us.
and then you see the Saint Bernard, which
Right. And you're like, oh, that's a bigger
it,
dog. But again, you're like, it's a
yeah,
St.
it's
Bernard. It's
beefy.
supposed to be huge. Yeah, but the biggest
Oh
sweetheart in
yeah,
the
yeah.
world.
What a sweetheart that
It
dog
was,
was.
yeah. Oh my God.
And
Yeah.
then
Immediately made friends with me. And I'm not, like big dogs. And I usually am not one that gravitates toward big
right.
dogs. Like not that I love little dogs. I like dogs, but I don't know what it is. I just have a thing where big dogs freak me out a
Well, I
little
got a
bit.
great picture of you and Freya the Saint Bernard.
Oh, did
I
you?
mean, I can
Awesome.
send it to you. She's
Yeah.
like sitting on basically your feet and just looking up at you.
Oh, yeah. Okay. For sure.
Yeah, I'll
Send
send
that
it
to
to
me.
you.
Yeah. But then this other dog comes
It,
sauntering out like it's
it's
Bigfoot.
basically the Beast from the Sandlot,
Yeah.
and not like the real Beast you see later of James Earl Jones, like the
Right.
mythical one that
Right.
pops his head above the fence like fucking Jaws.
Yeah. This dog, dude, it was when I saw it, I was like, "Oh my god." I believe both of us were kind of like, "Holy shit, this dog is huge." Like it made the Saint Bernard look small.
Yes,
And Saint Bernards are big
yes.
dogs. I was like, "Jesus, like I mean, this is probably up in like Mastiff
I mean, he was
territory
fucking huge.
or so." Cuz I think they said he's going about a buck 50 right
Yeah, and
now.
that's him gaining weight because he's got some sort of liver problem. Poor
Poor
boy.
boy. Yeah, but I seriously, after petting him and feeling just kind of the size of him, as you kind of like, holy shit, this is all dog. This isn't like, oh, he's really furry or
I mean, he
something,
was really furry too, but he
Yes.
was
But I was
fucking huge.
like I told you, I was like, I'm not even kidding when I almost think I could get on him and
Yeah.
ride him. He was for sure the type of kid could get on
Oh,
and
yeah.
ride, and probably a moderately sized adult. I was like, Jesus Christ. I've never seen a dog
And
so
once
huge in my
again,
life.
too, just a big sweetie.
Big sweetheart. But it's funny though, like when you're walking around, like most dogs, if they kind of while they're walking, they kind of bump into your legs. A lot of times they'll kind of
Yeah.
adjust. Not him. He just
Yeah.
walks, and you have to adjust to him.
Yes.
It was funny, but like you said, he's not in any way aggressive at all. The only aggressive of the three of them was the bloodhound, but that's their
Yeah.
nature
Let me
because
sniff that ass.
yeah, they see essentially. I mean, they have fine eyesight, but they see with their nose. Like they got to get that smell, and he for sure right into my crotch.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Like I don't remember you.
Yeah. Have we met?
Yeah. But again, sweetheart of a dog. It was just he was for sure the aggressive
Oh
one.
yeah.
The other ones were not very aggressive at all. They were just big sweethearts. Oh man, that was an experience.
Yeah. Like I mean, I tried to get a. Is that my dog barking? Doesn't matter.
That's not mine.
I tried to get a picture of like him sitting next to Cheeto because that was like,
Yeah.
so you could see the scale. But
Yeah.
as soon as I pulled the camera out, like most dogs do, we moved. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That was something. That's the thing is I wish somebody would have had a picture of him for scale so that I could show people, because I've told some people and they're like, oh yeah, big dog, and I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, this was a horse.
Yeah, fucking huge.
Like, this was a buffalo. Yeah, it was he's a big boy, that's for sure.
Yeah, good dog though. Good dog.
I like I told you, I was like, I don't understand how either of them can walk around that house though with that much beef walking around with you.
Yeah, I don't
Like,
know, especially
that's a
if he's
lot
like
of.
a Velcro dog. Because
Yes. Yeah.
Bomber's only 80 pounds, which is a lot because she's thick, she's dense,
The all
but she's
muscle. Yeah.
always like before I came up here and recorded, she was laying on my feet. She's always got to be like with you. So I
Yeah.
couldn't imagine if a dog that size had that same mindset.
Right. Yeah,
Like, oh,
exactly.
you're over here. Well, I'm gonna go take up half the room.
Well, it was like the Saint Bernard. Like, as soon as she came up to me, immediately the picture you're talking about is exactly what she did. She immediately just sat on my
Yeah.
feet, which is a good move, right? I guess it's the oh God, what's that guy called? That one douchebag who was like basically teaching guys how to be predators to women, but called it like coaching them on dating or whatever. I forgot the guy. We talked about him once before. And basically one of the type of techniques in those type of things is to kind of stand on the woman's foot a little bit so they can't run
What?
away, jokingly. I don't think it's really one, but that's one people have made a joke about.
I mean, I hope that's not a tactic.
I know Bob's Burgers used that as a joke, basically making fun of this guy because his techniques are very like predatory type things, like literally like negging the women and kind of boxing them in so they can't really run away from you. And yeah, there's some of that stuff that's
Lovely.
very predatory. Pretty awesome. Yeah. But that was Freya just boom right onto my foot, and I'm like, that's my foot. But I immediately put all her weight against my leg, and like you said, lifted her head up and was looking up at me.
Yeah, she was
like,
she was cool.
Like, why aren't you petting me yet?
Oh, we got to talk about that pizza.
Yeah.
Yes.
You mean the pepperoni rolls from where Cheeto works?
I hear they're legendary. I'm still trying. I'm questing for them still.
Yeah. I've heard they're great too. Yeah.
No,
We're never gonna let him live that down.
It's like this pizza we got. Not we got. This pizza someone brought because everyone's so generous there.
I apologize. Well, no one cares about their names anyways. I was going to say I forget people's names, but no one cares.
Like, if I remember right from what Cheeto said, they stretch the dough out in like a square sheet or a rectangular sheet, and they sauce it and bake it, and then pull it out, sauce it, cheese it, and topping it and bake it again. And so
something
you have
like
this like really crunchy, crispy cracker-like crust.
But it's still chewy
because it's thick enough to still be chewy too. Yeah. And it was a dope ass pizza. I enjoyed it a lot.
My first thing was like, oh man, that's gonna be just crunch, But I was like, whatever. But it was for sure its own thing. It really wasn't
had a pizza that style before.
It was really good. Yeah, I was quite happy with that. Also, somebody was like, "Hey, pizza," and I was like, "Well, I mean, let me at it." So
I know you're more of a pizza guy than I am. I also enjoyed a pizza, but I was more like, I've never seen a pizza like this. I must taste it.
Right. Well, and also and I thought this was cool. Like Cheeto said, they cut the pieces into rectangular size pieces, and you can order either a mix, which is how if you just took a rectangle and cut it up into rectangles, you're going to have some end pieces and then kind of middle pieces. But he said you can order just the edge pieces or just the like middle pieces that don't have a crust on the outside, which I thought was really cool.
That's pretty neat.
Because somebody like me, if I'm just ordering it for me, it's like, give me all the edges.
Sure. We're edgelords.
But I also understand. But I can understand if somebody's like, nah, I don't like the, like my mom would probably be more like, just give me the middles, So, it's cool that you can kind of pick and choose what you get there.
Getting a bucket of chicken from KFC. Sometimes you get light, sometimes you get dark, sometimes you get them both.
Yeah. Like, I just want this.
I'm with you. Edges for days. I'm gonna razor's
for sure,
edges.
dude. I'll tell you what, too, because there's nothing worse than like when you get a piece of pizza and you get to that crust. Like, I know there's a lot of people, savages that don't eat the crust,
Assholes.
but yeah, but it's like it sucks if you get to that crust and you're like, wow, this is just dry and gross,
Yeah, like, this
basically.
sucks, bro.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I can understand not eating this crust unless I got some good, dipping sauces or
Right.
something. But it for sure wasn't. The outer crust of it wasn't dry or anything at all either. It was really tasty. It was chef's kiss.
Chef's
Yep.
kiss.
I don't think we had any bad food while we were there. I mean, I didn't.
No.
I don't think you did either. I don't remember you saying anything. Well, I guess unless you count that Danish.
Well, because this Sunday morning, that was my problem. Is I got up again Sunday morning,
Yeah.
and we had to check out, and you were like zombie-ish.
Oh, well, real quick before we get to Sunday, let's wrap Saturday
right.
really.
Let's go backwards. Let's wrap up Saturday
with this, which I thought was hilarious because on our way there, you're like, bro, I can't do 2:30 again. You're like, I'm already hitting a wall, and it's like 2:00 in the afternoon, basically.
Yeah.
And I'm right, and then so we only pushed it to what 1:30.
Yeah, well, because it was like the party was wrapping up. Yeah, we sat around the fire for a while with the boys, and had some cigars and drank some beers and talked video games, and
yeah, it was a good talk. Yeah,
and then we retreated into the garage because people were leaving.
Yeah.
And then it was like, I told you that earlier. I'm like, oh, man, no. And then we just ended up sitting in the garage with Cheeto for hours, just drinking and bullshitting. And then I was like, man, we got to go. And then Cheeto hit me with that, come on, you got to have one more with me. And I'm like, all right.
It's hilarious, too, because I think both of us were in I don't really want one
more.
more.
I was feeling, I was just like, oh, man, I'm so.
My body was like, can we just have all the water now? Can we have water? I was like, no, one more beer.
Oh, and how could I forget? Cheeto had like a probably 20-minute FaceTime conversation of Heno.
Oh, that was cool to watch.
That was cool to watch. Yeah, I'm glad that glad that worked out too.
Me too.
But yeah, it was like I didn't really want to end the evening, but I kind of had to at that point.
Yeah, I think it was the right time too, because like you said, everybody else had left. It was cool to just have some time with him, though. Even Friday, even though there weren't a lot of people there for a little bit, it was kind of talking with everybody, and then it did become the three of us at a certain point, But it was nice that since we were just going to visit him, it was also nice to just have some time with
sure.
him.
Yeah,
really get in some of that and everything. So I was cool with that. But when you mentioned it was, you were kind of like, man, I gotta get, and I was like, yeah, I was feeling it too. I was, because I'll bring a little of the crazy life into the episode as I tend to do at times, which is socially I hit a point to where basically the concept of you can't pour from an empty cup, basically. Right. Like when you're out of energy, you can't help someone else. And I was at that point that my cup was for sure empty at that point. We had been on for 2 days, basically just socializing. I was like, "Whew, man, do I need a recharge?" Yeah, it's like, and also it's like, not that everything was crazy or anything, but I was like, I'm kind of just ready to be back in a nice, quiet hotel room.
Right.
And boy, was I wrong.
Fuck you, bro.
Because as I said, I am cursed with whoever I share a room with will snore, even if they don't know.
Oh, I normally do, so I don't tell you. Well,
yeah.
Correction. Yeah. I normally do as winter heads in.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that, too, was like smoking a cigar, sitting around the fire. You know?
Yeah. That's why I told you. I said, it wouldn't surprise me if I was snoring like an asshole, too, because my sinuses were kind of jacked up and, like you said, being around the fire and having all them beers and stuff. You don't sleep.
Yeah. Alcohol fucks you up a wee bit.
Yeah. So, it's like I wouldn't be surprised if I was snoring like it. But like I said, it was like my snoring won't keep me awake.
Yeah, I sleep like a corpse. So even if you were, I wouldn't even known.
Yeah. You weren't even kidding, right? Like you seriously, no more than your head hit that pillow after you plugged your phone in and you were out.
Yeah. That's when I get super tired, that's how it works.
Yeah. There was no like toss and turn for a couple minutes to find your spot. It was literally like your head hit pillow and
Yeah, shutting down.
yeah, it was over.
Yeah, it's a blessing and a curse. Because like I was
Yeah,
telling you,
yeah,
I don't know if pre-show or during the show, but I was falling asleep on the couch. It's
right.
just I fall asleep easy. But then when I don't, I'm up forever. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I got up and you were like half awake. And I was like, hey,
Yeah.
man, I'm going to go look for coffee. You want to come with me? And you're just like, and I'm like, you want to bring
Yeah.
something back?
Yeah. Like if you find a scone or something, bring me something.
So
Yeah.
I skedoodled to my coffee shop I went to the day before. You might find it shocking, Brian. In small town America, places aren't open Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I went to my
Much to
coffee shop and they were closed. And I was like, well, I remember yesterday when I wandering around. There was a market right across the street. They had a coffee bar closed.
Mm.
I was just like, well, fuck me. All right, I guess I'm gonna.
Should have went over to 7-Eleven,
Well, I mean, I
man.
could have, but somebody was getting thrown the fuck out of there.
Ah.
You get the fuck out! Like 8 in the morning or whatever it was.
It's that's the way to
Yeah,
start
that
the day,
was
man.
exciting. So, yeah, I went back to the hotel and I'm like, I guess I'm gonna drink some of this, shit coffee they have in the lobby, which was terrible. But as I
Yeah.
walk in the little nook, or this might have been the day before, it doesn't matter. There was an old lady in there doing like crosswords and had her phone jamming to the 50s on 5 on Sirius XM at like max volume. Like so
Yeah.
loud as I'm walking into the breakfast nook, I just thought that was the music they were playing.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, sure wasn't.
You know what? You should have just started sensually dancing very
Yeah,
close
just
to her.
staring at her.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Never losing eye contact.
But
Doing
I grabbed my little cup of coffee and this time they had Danishes. So I grabbed a couple Hostess Danishes for us, breakfast of champions.
Yeah.
And we'll head back up into the room to start packing up and shit.
Yeah. Get the fuck out of there.
Get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, that was something when you came back and you were like so Danish.
Yeah, there you go, buddy.
It made me so sad too because I remember when we were in oh no, that was a scone, never mind. I was thinking of that coffee shop that was in our hotel in Chicago.
Right.
That was down in the lobby that Henno and I got, breakfast in, but that was a ham and cheese scone that we got. But God, that was so
that
good.
Was at that the Acme, right? That hotel? That was a cool
Yeah,
hotel.
it was that one down in the lobby, basically, that little coffee shop that was in there. Yeah, Henno went down and got us. Well, no, it was before we went to the art museum because I ate it in the car. Because I remember walking out there and was like, oh, shit, I got this in my hand. And I was asked the cab driver. I'm like, hey, is this cool? He's like, I don't
whatever,
care.
bud.
So, like, I'll try not to get too much of it all over the car. I'm pretty good about getting most of the food in my face.
Yes, naturally.
So, yeah. But
yeah, we had one last brunch.
Yeah, pickles.
Love the name.
Pickles.
Food is banging.
It was, yeah. It was banging. The place was great. It very much was our kind of place.
Yeah, I gotta say, as a guy who doesn't really drink much besides beer and coffee and water, when I was like, "Hey, you guys got coffee?" and they're like, "Nope," I'm like, it's 11 o'clock. I guess I'll take a beer.
Yeah.
Fuck it. There's a brewery I've never heard of. Let me try that one.
Yeah. Well, and it was a brewery that Cheeto had recommended too.
About it. So I was like, I think I gotta try it. And it had a low ABV. I looked it up before I ordered it. So.
Right. Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm like water.
Please, water. For the love of God, water.
For the love of God. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I was crushing bottles of water. So.
Yeah, I ended up like looking back. I drank a decent amount of water, but I for sure didn't drink the amount of water I probably should have drank. But because my body was still like even today, I've still been like since we've gotten back, I've been really crushing water to kind of first of all get rid of some of that beer bloat, because I for sure felt kind of bloated for a little bit, and now I feel back to pretty much normal as far as that goes. But man, I've been crushing water since we got home.
Like that beer, that 11 o'clock beer I had was the last beer I've had since. Yeah, because I was
Yeah.
like, I gotta take a break. So I've been.
Yeah. When you ordered that, I almost ordered a beer, and then I'm like, what are you doing? Just stop it.
I had to.
Just
I had to, Brian.
yeah. No,
But
I
yeah, no, I've
understand.
been crushing water. I actually went and bought like I had to replenish my Pepsi for Leah because Leah's coming over this weekend. And I was like,
Right.
oh, they have zero sugar Dr. Pepper with cream soda? That sounds good. So I picked up a 12. That actually is pretty tasty. But man,
Right.
I'm like, I probably won't crack into a beer until Halloween because I still got that little bit of a growler to finish. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'll have that, and I'm probably gonna go back to taking a break. We'll see. We'll see how I feel.
Yeah.
But
Right.
I did because Cheeto. One of the things he gave me shit about while we were Saturday was like, "Hey man, whatever happened to all the beers?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
he's right.
Yeah. I mean, he had you tied to a chair and was slapping you
Basically,
about too. It was, I mean, but it was, as your best friend, I was like, he needs this.
exactly. So I was like,
I was like, this is what he
so
needs this.
yesterday I actually recorded one. Like I made a video. Or no, it wasn't yesterday. It was the
All
day
right.
before yesterday because yesterday I was in bed, torture hell. And I was like,
Right.
oh, well, we're not recording a podcast. I'm like, fuck it. You know what? I'm going to record all the beers. And I'm not going to have a beer. I'm going to explain a style of beer. You know,
Oh,
so
okay.
I sat out on my porch. I had everything set up. And then, like, Michelle came home. And I don't remember. Oh, then Leah came over. And then we ended up all going to dinner together. And it was like,
Right.
I come back and it's dark. But, like, I got, like, my porch is all lit up with, like, purple lights for Halloween. And I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
still making this video. So I sat out there and I made the video and I went to edit it yesterday at work. I was going to start putting it together. And to the naked eye, those LEDs are solid. In a video, they strobe crazily.
Oh, no.
So I'm like, well, now I got to reshoot this.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to.
There's
but
no
at least
way
put
I'm
a
putting
seizure
that up.
warning on it. Like, you for sure got to get a seizure
I was
warning
so
on there.
disappointed. It was only going to be like a little like 8-minute thing or whatever. I
Still,
was so disappointed though.
For that long though, I could see that would drive you absolutely batshit. I'm sure.
So Cheeto and anyone else who's been like, whatever happened to Tony's little side gig, I'm working on it. All right, Jesus Christ,
I'm working over here. Yeah.
I'm trying. Yeah, because it hit me. I mean, he was just like, yeah. I told him, I'm like, I just don't have time, and I'm sitting there like thinking about it later. I was like, man, I got time to like fuck around on my phone for 45 minutes. I definitely have time to not do that and do something more productive. So I'm trying, people.
Yeah, but instead you hypnotized yourself unintentionally.
I had no idea. No clue. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, that is wild. I didn't know that either. Wow. All right, that's good to know. Yeah.
I mean, our drive back is pretty uneventful.
Yeah, other than us both were,
I mean, shooting shit the whole time like we do, and then it was just like our original plan was we're going to swing through Cleveland, stop at a brewery like a bunch of savages. Yeah. But we did not. We just went straight home.
And it's funny too, because I think when we talked about it, I'm like, man, I'm not going to be hungry by the time we get to the Cleveland area, because it was only 2 hours or whatever, and I for sure wasn't. Like, we got home, like, you dropped me off, and it was a while before I ate again. I don't even remember when I ate, but it was a while.
I don't think I ate until we got dinner.
Yeah, same here. So it was like, glad we didn't stop, because I really didn't need the food, and I really didn't have room for, and for sure we're gonna have some beer while we're there.
100%. If we're going to a brewery, I'm definitely probably gonna do a flight, because a flight is equivalent to a pint in ounces. So I'm definitely doing a flight. Definitely getting the pizza that I saw pictures of.
Yeah,
definitely feeling like a fat bastard
for the rest of the drive, and probably beyond.
Yeah, so no, it was probably a good move not to go, but at the same time, kind of made me a little sad. I was like, oh, maybe I get some new koozies. Oh, nothing.
No koozies for you, mister.
It was a great weekend, though. I had a lot of fun. It's been a long time since you and I did anything like that, too.
Seriously, I was trying to think of when the last time just you and I did something like this.
Forever.
probably in our 20s or early 30s, something like. I mean, it's been
forever. Well,
forever.
because honestly, it's usually like if something like this happened, it's like, oh, there's a beer fest attached to it. Oh, there's a concert attached to it. There are people going. I honestly don't remember the last time just you and I. And I know we went and visited a friend of ours, but that's different. We went to visit him. Right. It's not like he showed up at our house like, let's go, boys. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, it was cool to do that too, because it's been too long. Let's be real.
Agreed. That was for sure. That's why I said I just think the whole weekend was just really a good for the soul kind of thing. Yeah. Good people, good conversations. Gave you and I a chance to literally basically do the same thing we do on this thing on down and back. Sure. But it's still that's what we've always done. So it's but it was really cool. It was really nice. I'm for sure glad that we did it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Same here.
Even with nearly losing my voice Monday.
You'd be all right. You found it. It's cool.
Right. Fine. You're right. I'm fine. I'll just write on paper.
Just go on those little, remember the Magnadoodle? That shit was cool.
Oh yeah, right. You know what's funny? You say that. Years ago, when I was in the hospital I had an allergic reaction because I was given an adult dose of penicillin.
Oh,
yeah, and I had a bad reaction to it, and I was in the hospital for a few days. And while I was in the hospital, the kid that was in the bed next to me I think he had like his tonsils out or something. So that is literally how he was communicating to his family, was one of those, not the Magnadoodles, but those shitty ones you could buy with like the little film that you just peel up.
Yeah.
And yeah. That's why I was like, I know it's not a Magnadoodle, but it was just that reminded me of that kid using that to kind of write messages to his
I used to
parents.
Love having that things. I used to draw on it all the time.
Too. Yeah, and those things, I mean, they were cheap as shit. So he always had one. And, and even when you ruin them eventually, because, eventually that, like, I don't know, that film or whatever, it gets all crinkly and you can't keep it flat anymore. You just throw it in the trash and get another one because they were, I don't know, they were probably like $2 back then, But man,
I don't even know
I love those around. I don't either because I don't remember what they were called.
I know, right?
From 750 years ago or whatever it was. Pretty close, I'm sure.
Okay, so I just put drawing thing with film and plastic stylus. Oh, I got it.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Thanks, Google. You're the best. Magic slate.
Okay, yeah.
Magic slate, Brian.
Yeah, could you just draw or write or whatever on it, and then when you wanted to erase it, you just peeled the stuff up because it kind of stuck to the black backing thing.
Yeah.
And you just peel it up, and it was all gone. You put it back down, kind of smooth it back out, and then you just go right back to it. Like I said, over time, from all that peeling and stuff, it wouldn't really stick anymore, or it would crinkle to where it wouldn't lay flat real well. But, like I said, in those days, they were so cheap, you probably just wing it in the trash, and your parents would probably, I'll get you another one.
As is American tradition.
Because they probably weren't much money. Like I said, they were probably like $2 or something.
I'm scrolling through all these vintage ones because it says you could still buy them. I'm like, well, where? Oh, fuck yeah, an Urkel one. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think most of the ones I had were really like generic. Like you can't even say dollar store because I don't know that I don't think there were dollar stores in the days when I had those. But it's that kind of quality of a product.
These things are the best, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I magic slates.
I used to love drawing on those.
Shit's awesome.
I miss that. Yeah, I used to take them with me on like car trips.
For sure. See,
you're fucking around with them while you're on the, drawing on the car trip.
Yeah.
Just drawing again.
The same thing, and then like I remember my my cousin whose parents did very well for themselves. That's the first time I saw Magnadoodle. I'm like, what sort of technology is this?
Yeah. Is this from NASA?
Exactly. What are you, some sort of alien or something?
Do you know how they made the pyramids? Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Good times. I mean, the only magnet thing I had was that thing he drew a beard on the guy's head with, using the little iron fillings.
Yep, I remember those too. I had that too. I never had a Magnadoodle either.
Never had one.
I never had I think I had a small Etch a Sketch, but I never even had like an Etch a
I
Sketch
definitely had an
otherwise.
Etch a Sketch. I do remember that.
Yeah, I remember using
Yeah.
your Etch a Sketch. Yeah. I remember us like drawing things and trading it around, like, all right, your turn kind of thing, or add to it or whatever. But I never really had one of those. I don't know. It's actually a little surprising I never had one of those. Because again, I know those couldn't have been very
Right.
expensive when we were
And
kids.
you were the art kid.
Yeah, so I'm a little surprised I never had one of those. But
What are you gonna
whatever.
do?
I mean, I pretty much was the type I didn't really care either. It was like I have all this paper and pens, crayons, colored
You
pencils, all
secretly hate
markers. I
trees.
always had so much. It's not secret. I've been pretty open about how much I hate the environment.
That's true. The sun's always trying to kill me. I hate it.
That's right.
Fuck you, son.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Yeah. Ah, man. Good shit. It was really interesting to kind of get back into, even though I don't have like a daily grind. It was still, just your normal shit.
Yeah.
Like even Sunday night, by the time I head into my room, I was like, all right, I'm gonna jump on GTA and do my daily shit real quick. And I got done with that, and I'm like, man, I'm tired.
Yeah,
Like I'm
right.
just gonna go to sleep. And I did, man. I slept pretty well Sunday night and last night too, man. It was hot in my room, and once I opened the window a little bit because I didn't want to kick the air on. It was like it wasn't hot as far as outside. It was like 50 degrees,
Right.
So I was like, I'll just open the window. That'll be plenty for me and cool my room down a little bit. And then I was, man, once I was asleep though, oh boy, I was out. So I'm for sure been grabbing some good sleep. I don't know, like I say, maybe it was just that maybe the weekend kind of put my mind at peace a little bit, and maybe it allowed me to get some decent sleep
Yeah,
finally.
maybe.
I don't know. Whatever it was, man, I'm glad I got a couple real good nights of sleep though.
Yeah, I mean my, week since then has been just very, normal shit. Sleep, wake up, go to
Yeah,
work. Besides wrestling to bed, of course.
yeah, exactly. They're pretty
Yeah,
erotic.
super
Yeah,
erotic.
yeah.
Exactly. And then, like I said, we like Leah came over because I can't remember why Leah came over. Oh, it was because it's so nice out, and they wanted her like, "Hey, can I come over and steal my bike?" I'm
No.
like, what do you mean
Yeah.
steal it? And they're like, well, I just want to go for a bike ride. I'm like, yeah, just make sure you bring it back or whatever, because honestly, I don't want to
Right.
store it at their mom's house.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I'm probably just
Right.
gonna ride through your neighborhood anyway. I'm like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's
All right.
cool. And we were gonna go grocery shopping. This is Monday, but
For sure, a good day. Either day was for
oh
sure a
yeah,
great day
sure.
for it. Gorgeous weather when we got
But
back.
it was like by the
I mean,
time,
not that the weather was bad where we
right.
were. It was great there too.
Well, I told Leah, I'm like, well, I won't leave to go grocery shop because I told Leah, I'm like, hey, we're probably going grocery shopping. We might not be here, but I'm thinking like, we have to put air in the tires. So I'm like, we're not going to leave until you get here. And then by the time they got here and went for their bike ride, they come back inside. I'm like, we're just going to end up getting food, Leah, because by the time we go grocery shopping, I'm not going to want to cook when we come home.
Like you're still gonna probably want to end up grabbing food
Exactly.
instead.
And then Leah,
You might as well
just grab the food.
Yeah.
And then Leah was like, well, I'm just going to grab dinner on my way home anyway. I was going to get some Taco Bell or something. It was like, if you're just going to go grab food, and because, Leah's like, well, no one's home right now, so I'm just going to eat by myself. I'm just like, just eat dinner with us. So we ended up walking up the road to the Mexican place and getting some real ass food.
Nice. Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
Haven't been, and the taco place is closed, but the place next door was open, so.
Oh, right. Yeah, I did the opposite, man. I got Sunday night. I ordered a couple wheels of shame.
Oh no!
So,
oh no! Witness me!
I was hungry, and there really wasn't much.
Right.
I just didn't feel like cooking anything, so I was like, you know what? I can go for some pizza. So, and I had a coupon, so I just ordered some pizza from there. And it did the job, But other than that, man, everything I've been eating pretty much, I'm like, how can I put vegetables into this? Because I for sure have felt a deficiency of vegetables over the last few days.
I hear you. I've been smashing some salads.
Yeah.
Even today, my work was like, "Hey, you guys have been doing awesome. We're getting you Panera for lunch." And in my head, I'm like, "It's just gonna be a sandwich and chips." And it was
Yeah.
that, but they also had a big ass salad and a cookie. So
Oh,
I was like, well,
all
fuck
right.
yeah, salad me up. And then I was eating it. Like I moved my plate and I left the room I was in and went to our like normal break room because I'm like, I don't want to sit with some of these people. No
Yeah.
offense if any of my workers are watching, but I was down there. I'm like, I should have made a bigger salad. I want more salad. I'm like, I'm not going back upstairs. Whatever.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking yesterday, or was it yesterday? Or my mom and I went grab some food, and I got a salad, and I was like, God, I should have just got a big salad. Like I just got like the side salad, to start, and I'm like, I should have just got a whole salad as my dinner,
Oh,
you know,
salad.
just salad.
I do have I know I'm not really speaking of, but we're gonna circle back to pizza, Brian. I have a spot that we need to check out. And I probably told you about the Inky's family that have that other restaurant.
Yeah.
Um, It's Sunday. God, we've been going out to eat too much. Sunday we went out too because we didn't have any food in the house.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm not going shopping. I'm tired. So Michelle was like, well, how about we're just driving? Because I wanted to go to the car wash because it looked like I basically ran over it like that. Whatever. Edgar from Men in Black looks like I ran him over. There's so much blood guts on the front of my car.
Right. I told you not to hit those hobos,
hey,
but you just
fuck them
aimed
hobos.
right for them.
So I was like, well, and Michelle's like, well, what about that Italian place? I'm like, oh yeah, we'll go check that out. Go inside, which by the way, probably one of the best chicken parms I've ever had. Chicken parm is fucking amazing.
Man, I haven't had chicken parm in so
this
long.
place
I may
is
have
the
to do
best
that.
chicken parm I've ever had. But I'm sitting there, we're sitting there at the table and we're eating. I look up, and they probably they've got a bar. Probably got eight, maybe 10 stools. Decent beers on tap. And the pizza in this place is banging, and there's no one sitting at the bar.
Oh,
and I'm
nice.
like, I was like, this might be a Bryan and I date.
Yeah, that for sure sounds like something we would
sit at the bar because like the owner, I think he was the owner, was just tending bar because I got a glass of wine. It was delightful. Oh yeah, shit, I lied. I was like, the last thing I had was that beer. No, I had a glass of wine that night.
You son of a bitch.
He brought me my glass of wine, and I was just watching him bartend, and I'm like, you know what? That might be a good move. Go over there and get a couple, because I got small pizzas, Get a couple of pizzas. Just had to have a couple of pints and just watch whatever sports is on the stupid TV hanging above the bar.
Hopefully some motorcycle racing. Yeah.
Yes, hopefully some motorcycle racing. Yeah, it was we'll have to check it out.
All right. Yeah, I'm always down for pizza dates. So.
Oh God, I'm dying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
right.
the week couldn't compare at all to the weekend. It pales in comparison.
No. For sure. Yeah, the same way. It's one of those where like you come back and like today's my mom's birthday, so it was
happy birthday.
So we didn't really do anything today for her, but Fluffy Bunny Ash helped me track down a Funko Pop I wanted to get for my mom, so got that and gave it to her last night, and found a card that basically said like like in pig years you'd be a football or something like that.
That's
was
funny.
a nice classy birthday card as I tend to give out, because I was gonna pull your move and do or like I used to do, which is like I'd give like our friend Kelly, I used to give her cards. It would be like, you're my favorite uncle or something like that, just for shits, just some card that really, or a sympathy card, just shit that's really not for whatever it is.
That's my favorite thing to do, Brian.
Yeah.
Take cards and then alter them.
Yeah. But when I saw this card, I was like, that's good. I mean, the one I got her last year, I think it's like an old couple on the outside, and then the woman's like, did you fart? And the guy goes, nope. And he opened it up and he goes, I pooped too.
Wow.
So
fair enough.
Yeah. I was like, nothing says happy birthday like that,
Yeah, nothing like a nice happy birthday shit joke.
Right. But man, it always every time I always forget. I need to start card shopping sooner, because when it gets to someone's birthday, it's like I have to spend so much fucking time finding like the one funny card.
Yeah, and cards generally suck ass.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying, right? It's like I walked through all the ones that are like the $6 cards.
Yeah.
And I mean, at best, I got a mild chuckle out of like one or two. And I'm like, this isn't good enough, you know? Especially for like $6. If I'm paying $6, I should be on the floor laughing.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
so, and I'm just like, well, I'm just going to keep walking around. And if not, I'll go to the old move, which is to find something, silly and, or, repurpose a card or whatever, right? Or fuck it, I'll just get a blank one and I'll write something in it.
Also a good move.
So as I'm walking around and I found that one and I was like, oh shit, like this is in the 99-cent card section,
Oh,
you know?
nice. That's
It was
even
like,
better.
yeah, because usually the cards in that section are the hottest
Yeah,
garbage.
fucking trash.
Like because there's no effort being put in because they know they're only going to get 99 cents out of it.
It's like what did the birthday boy say to the other birthday boy? But it's just like cabbage.
Or it just says happy birthday.
Yeah, exactly. It's just zero.
You didn't even try in this.
What are you guys
like,
doing?
And birthday's spelled wrong.
Yeah, I honestly hate card shopping.
Yeah. I don't do it for most people because I just honestly, first of all, cards are such a waste of money.
Yes.
Because you look at it, you get whatever out of it. Most people, it's just wing it right into the trash, basically. Especially if there's no money in it. So
Wait,
it's like
you actually
what'd
read
you?
it? I just flip it open and shake it.
Yeah, dude, that would be so good for like an adult birthday party to do that. Like every card you get, just do that and just look very disappointed if there's nothing, and just set
throw
it
it
aside.
behind you like your Letterman.
Yeah. Like,
Oh wait, no, that was Weekend, whatever.
No, Letterman used to throw the cards.
Okay, I am thinking right. All right.
Like the big index cards that he would throw some of them. But yeah. So, but yeah. Anyway, so I, got that and everything, and so that's been about it for the week. It's like it's really been, not that boring is bad, but it's just like, oh yeah, it's
standard issue.
Back to the standard issue. So
no, I hear you, bro. I hear you.
Which is, like I said, which is fine. Just and we got back, in time to enjoy a couple really nice days, and now, the shitty weather's decided to show back up a little bit. So,
well, as the work part of me, I enjoy the shitty weather because the past 2 days have been hot as fuck at my work. Because I'm pretty sure they just left the heat on.
Yeah,
like a bunch of numbskulls.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah. Actually, I got out of work early today because our whole plant lost air pressure, which we use a lot of pneumatic stuff, so they're just they just shut us down.
Right.
By early, I mean like 3:30. Ooh, it's like an hour early.
Yeah,
but
right.
I had to go to the store, so
that's good.
It worked out.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I was actually thinking about it. I'm like, I could actually stick around and do some shit if I want to. And I'm like, nah, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Right. Like, I'm going to go to the store that I've been putting off for 4 days.
Yeah, basically.
Whatever, yeah. That was one thing I was glad about was, I went to the store Thursday last week, and, coming back, I was like, oh, it's so nice to not have to, because you know how it is, pretty much anytime you go on a trip, a lot of times you don't go to the store before you leave unless it's for stuff for the trip.
Right.
And then a lot of times you get back and like you were saying, it's like, man, there's no food in here. Now we got to do the store thing. And it's like,
What,
so I was glad I didn't have to do that.
Yeah. Like I'm pretty sure Michelle was just like, I'm just like getting food to go while you're gone.
Yeah. Which is understandable.
I totally understand. Exactly. I totally understand.
Better she was just eating kibble with the dogs, one or the other.
Yes, exactly.
She just puts a third bowl out.
Ember's fancy cat food.
Yeah. Ember got very upset at that, I'm sure.
Probably.
Like, how dare you? That's mine. Because cats will get very indignant if you have something that's theirs,
This is very true. I don't know. Ember's pretty special, though.
Yeah. So, out of curiosity, I assume when, like as soon as you walked in, like Bomber was probably going stupid, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, my cat looked at me and just walked right past me.
Yeah, fuck you, bro.
Meanwhile, my mom was like, my mom was like, the whole weekend, she kept going back by your room and, like looking around for you and all this. I get home and she's like, what's up, fucker? And just ignored me for like the rest of the night.
She probably looked at you and it just was like in cat, voice was just like, you didn't even call.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. That's not what it was. Is it was,
Yeah.
yeah, she was for sure playing hard to get. Sunday night and into Monday.
Yeah.
Like she was like, I call her like even when I had treats for her, she was still kind of like, whatever. I guess we're doing this.
Like,
It wasn't like normal where she comes, and running up to me.
Like, I will eat these reluctantly.
Right. I'll only eat these because I like them. I'm not doing this because you want me to.
Like, I'm not doing it for you.
Yeah.
I'm doing it for me.
I don't want them to go to waste. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like some asshole cat behavior.
I just thought it was kind of funny because I'm like, I'm sure Tony's dog is like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god,
I mean, even Poe came out to go visit me to see what was up.
Yeah. Where the fuck have you been? It's been like 6 years.
Exactly.
Because they don't have a concept of time. Yeah. That's why I love when people talk about that. Like, I was only gone 20 minutes. I'm like, time is a man-made construct. Like, animals don't
Like,
understand
dogs have
that.
no idea.
They just know you left. Yeah. They just know you left. That's it. They didn't know where you went. They didn't know when you're coming back. They don't, they just know you left, and that's it. And it's just like, where's my human? Where's my human?
Where did they go? Where did they go?
This other one's still here. Where's the other one? I don't understand. Like, is it just me and her now?
Yes.
It's got to be weird, right? Like when someone, like in my scenario where, like, Jim passes away, and, Callie would go out, and my cat's name is Callie for anyone who doesn't know. She would go out and, she'd like get up on her hind legs and look in the chair and kind of sniff around and go in by the bedroom and look up at his side of the bed. And it's like, it's like you can tell they're clearly trying to figure out where that person
sure,
is.
Right?
But, because they're not going to get the concept, he's gone, but other than they just like, okay, I guess that one's gone kind of a thing. It's like it's got to be a weird concept with the way, we can't logic it to them. So I'd love to know how it breaks down in their head.
That is interesting. I'm not real sure.
It's like when my dad died, the cat we had at the time, I mean, she went in because my dad passed away over the sink of our bathroom, and my cat went in and would lay across the doorway and just like that kind of thing. So it's like she must have been picking up his scent in there or something because she kept going to that spot, and it was like, this is weird, but obviously after a while she quit. But then I think she figured out at some point, okay, I have to rely on these other assholes.
Son of a.
Because my dad fed her in the morning, but then he was gone, so Jen was there, and the cat absolutely did not want to make friends with Jen. She did not like Jen, but she had to adjust because that's how you get fed in the morning. It's just interesting, how, like for us, especially as adults, I guess like with kids too, it's like, how do you describe to a child that someone's gone and really have it register,
Yeah, that's true.
Because I mean, there's all the, they're up with Jesus or they whatever kind of things, but I don't think, for the most part, it's more of a, it just satisfies the, they're not here thing, but it doesn't necessarily register with some of the kids like where they actually are, because you're not going to be like, they're in a ground,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Papa's over here under this slab of concrete.
Is that like a secret base or something?
Why is he down there? Yeah.
Is he Batman?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good point with it. The animal thing. I don't know. I don't know how that registers.
Yeah, I figured I'd come in and Callie would at least, kind of tell me what's gone on over the weekend, like she usually does. She got to tell you, like if she sits in the like our screen door, if we happen, at some point she will come over to you and just be like, like, yo, did you see that bird? Did you, like she's got to tell you all the doings that's going on over there, and but yeah, she straight up cold shouldered me when I came back.
Bro, you didn't even let me know you were leaving. How dare you?
You could have FaceTimed. I know you have an iPhone. Like
exactly.
You could have Skyped. That's what it felt like. I was like, oh, okay, I guess. All right. So yeah, it was pretty funny though, because like last night I go to give her treats and I do a thing where like I'll kind of toss them in the air and she tries to catch them, and boy, she was all about doing that last night. So I was like, oh, okay, the cold
Things
shoulder
are back
period
to
must be
normal
over
now.
now. Yeah, like okay, all right. Because the first night I tried to do that and she just sat there staring at me like, I'm not putting on a fucking show for you. You left me.
Yeah, exactly. What am I, your dancing
It was-
monkey?
yeah, that's what I said. It was so like you said, so like you didn't even call. Like the fuck. Like I thought we had a thing here. It was silly, stupid me for setting my expectations to think I was going to get a hero's
I
welcome.
mean, maybe if you came back with like a
upon
giant
walking in the
tuna
door.
just for the cat.
Yeah, but maybe that's what it was. I didn't come back with a
Right.
gift or something. Maybe if I had put a dead mouse at her feet or
You have
something.
to drop with your teeth, though.
Yeah, well, that's the only way to do it. Yeah. Either that or maybe she saw me put, peanuts out for the squirrel before I left or something.
You
Maybe she
son
felt
of a
cheated
bitch.
on her. Maybe she picked up the scent of, the Loch Ness Monster and the other two dogs that we
Right.
saw in Charles.
I mean, those pants I wore on the drive home were the pants I wore the night before when we were, and boy was Bomber's face making sweet love to those jeans.
Oh,
Oh
yeah, I
my
imagine.
God.
Yeah. Like, what is
Yeah,
going on
for sure.
here? Oh, man. I'm surprised you didn't get some cold shoulder after that,
Like he was out.
Like, who you been out with?
Exactly.
That's like lipstick.
Let me see your
powder,
phone.
Like, yeah.
Oh shit.
You ain't wrong, though. I mean, like I said, that's like lipstick on a collar to your
For
pet,
sure, right?
Yeah, Callie for sure will give me my shoes the once over. Like, man, she sniffed the hell out of my shoes. So I think it's the same
Okay,
scenario,
who are you
probably.
petting? What's going on here?
Yep. Right. I like to let me see your phone. That's my favorite one. Yeah. Ooh. Ooh.
Hey.
Yeah. Oh man. All right. Well, I guess we should probably move into the Q of the W. I mean, we're an hour 45
shit.
in.
It doesn't
So
feel like it.
yeah.
Alright.
So I had some other stuff I was going to talk about, but
Well, last week we asked you, aside from people, what are you starting to like less and less as you get older? On Instagram, it's apparently answering our Instagram post. Because we got nothing on Instagram. I know, right?
Oh.
Wow. But on Facebook, we got a couple.
All right.
Scratch my nose here. Kiki. She says, children. They are not people. They are monsters. Also, social media app updates because they move shit around. Fair enough.
Yeah, I can for sure get behind that. Because it is really frustrating how so many of them move things. And I'm like, did someone ask for this? Because it seems pretty intuitive before. Now you've moved some weird shit around. It's like, now I have to go into like two menus to find something. It's
what are
stupid.
you doing, people?
Yeah.
Diamond, top fan. Although I can't tell if he is or isn't because I'm as me and not as salty language. So I don't know. He says
man.
capitalism. It's the absolute
Meh.
worst.
Yeah, that's a good answer too. Because you're right. I think the older I get, the more I realize that capitalism is a really shit way of doing things.
Sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yep.
And then former enthusiast guest, writer, Casey Pierce, as it says on her profile here. Facebook. Tired of seeing nerds put so much effort into being wildly offended by someone's preference in TV shows and movies. I guess we're supposed to be judging someone's character based on their choice in Netflix viewing. Shrug emoji. To sit and write paragraphs of that soapbox shit speaks far more about someone's lousy character, though. Get a life or get fucked. Don't these people have jobs?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. A lot of them do, but a lot of people have time at their jobs and they stay on Facebook.
Casey,
So
how I miss you. That is terrific.
Yeah, I totally get that. Because we've talked about it, like, fan culture on here a lot of times is since the internet become increasingly
Right.
toxic. More and more and more. Like, as soon as something is announced, half the internet's got a
Oh, for
shit all
sure,
over it.
right?
It's like, calm down, man. Like, and sometimes it's like, okay, great, it's not for you. Just it ain't harming anybody. Just let other people enjoy some shit that they enjoy, as long as it's not hurting somebody.
I mean, I agree.
Like if you're a person who enjoys Kanye's recent rants, I got no time for you. But you know, if you're a person who just, hey man, I think Black Adam was a great movie. Fine. I may not agree with you. I don't know. I haven't seen it. But I may not agree with you, but I'm certainly not going to yell
Like,
at you and
you're a
argue with
piece
you
of
about it until at
shit.
least I've seen it. Yeah.
No,
At least until I've seen it,
all right.
then we can have a discussion about it. But until then, it's like I don't know. I
Right.
haven't seen it. I've seen people, ripping apart the House of the Dragon, season finale, and just ripping up Rings of Power and all that stuff. And I was like, you don't have to watch it, right? Like you can just not, like I don't understand. Like if you don't enjoy something, why do you keep
Right.
consuming it?
Exactly.
I mean, this isn't work. This isn't something you've got to get up and do. Like the TV show you don't like. It's real simple. A lot of options out there. This isn't like when you and I were children, when there was like 4 channels.
Right.
you know, and it was like, oh, if you don't like this show, you're bumming because on these other networks, it's like the news, basically.
That's what I got
So,
over here, my guy.
well, I've got Cheeto Bandito sent one in, and he says, "What do I like less and less the older I get? Social media. That's part of why I don't use social media platforms anymore. I was growing very Jesus, wary of people's bullshit, status posts, and all the negativity and hate. As I get older, I just don't want to see that anymore." I agree, man. As a person who used to be just incredibly negative all the time. Since I've kind of, changed how I see things, I very much I just don't have time for all that negativity.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I was just saying, it's like, if you hate something that much, fucking move on. No matter what it is. If it's a person in your life, if it's a job, what it was like, find something else that's not so
Oh, for
horrible.
sure.
I know it's not always the option, It's hard especially if it's a job or someone you've been with for a long time. But even then, it's like, why stay with somebody and be miserable?
Right.
Just fucking move on.
Exactly.
It- you know, it's just, yeah, it could be messy, it can take time, blah blah. But in the end, eventually, you're moving the way towards
Yeah,
happiness,
for sure.
or at least less miserable. Just being less miserable is is a
I mean, I
thing
was
to
gonna say
strive
that's
for.
half the battle sometimes.
And this is coming from a person who deals with depression.
Right.
That's my goal always, is like to try to move as far away from miserable as I can. Because it sucks. I did it for a long time. It's not fun.
No one
So
wants to be miserable. At least, well, I
it
say
sure
that, but I
sure
kind of
feels.
convince some people do.
Well, here's the thing, right? I think what it comes down to is, I don't think anyone actually wants to be miserable, but your brain lies to you.
Right.
Like when you have depression or different things in life, that your brain tells you some pretty awful stuff. And the easiest way to cope with that is to stay miserable, because, like people who've had depression will talk about how it feels like a warm blanket. Like that darkness and that, just the depression is comfortable, it. So it's easy to gravitate back toward it.
Yeah, makes sense.
It's harder to go the other
Yeah.
way.
Change is hard, man.
Right. But trust me, once you get to where you're not relying on that blanket as much, you don't want that blanket anymore.
That's fair.
So, like I said, just, whatever it is in your life, even if you can't completely shift and run the way you want to, just point your feet towards what you want to do and just do everything you can toward that, And stop being such miserable cunts.
Exactly, right?
You internet people. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I agree with him. He says, Hobie picks today's music. Bah, I'm an old man. Get off my lawn. And he says, Hangovers. Never liked them, but damn if I don't like them less and less. Amen to that, man. Because he's right. As you get older, hangovers suck more and more. So
Yep, that's why I try not to achieve that level of fuckery anymore.
same here. And as we were having a talk the other night and brought this topic up, weird body hair also probably fits that. You know, like getting those weird nose hairs, and some people get the ear hair, and you know hair wherever else, on their nipples or whatever. I don't know.
Right?
Things just start getting weird when you get older. For some reason, there's this other switch of, it's like, you're born and it's like, oh, you only get hair on your head and eyebrows and arms, basically. And or not even arms, but then you hit puberty and it's like, oh, also we're gonna give you hair on your chest, potentially your back, your legs, your groin, your ass.
Yeah.
Like it's in full tilt mode. And then a little after that, it's like, oh well, we might have hair on your head.
Yeah, but everything else is open season.
Yeah, we're gonna just dial it back here, but we're gonna put that into and then later on, you're like, oh, remember that hair on your head? All that hair now grows out of your nose and ears.
Yeah. Good luck. Have fun.
Just some asshole fiddling with the dials through your life, and it's like, dude, you could have just left them where we were at one point.
Just
You didn't
left
have
it on the domer, would you? That'd be cool.
Yeah. I really don't need a full head of hair in my nose.
Right.
So, 'cause, man, since turning 40, I gotta get up in there with a nose trimmer like every other day to make sure things ain't peeking out of my nose. Basically, it's like, why does this grow so fast?
Like nothing else in nature grows as fast.
Yeah, right.
I don't even understand.
It's like, but if I go like 3 days without trimming my nose hair, it's like I have a second mustache. It's very weird. In fact, I don't even grow a mustache anymore.
It's all just nose hair.
Right on my nose. Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Shit. So yeah. All right. So that's what I got for last week's. All right. So 1 through 11 for this week.
How about 2?
2.
All right.
All right. Did we do this before? This one seems familiar. What is something that is scarier during the day?
I don't know if we've done that before.
Okay, well, we'll do it then. 'Cause I don't remember.
Scarier during the day.
Yeah.
I would have to say, Brian, when it gets dark outside. Usually that means there's some bad shit coming. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if it's like 3 in the afternoon and you're like, you look outside and you're like, why does it look like it's like 7 at night?
Yeah.
Oh, that's because the apocalypse is blowing in.
That's not bad. Yeah.
So far that would be my answer. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's far more terrifying during the daytime.
Yeah. Yeah, because a lot of stuff like, going into the basement's not scary during the daytime typically, as long as there's sun that gets in there.
Right.
Because usually then you go, oh, that thing I thought was clearly Frankenstein in my basement is just a mop handle or something.
Right. Oh, it's Frankenstein's bride.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. You walk in there like, oh, I thought that was Frankenstein. Oh shit, it is Frankenstein. I mean, man, I don't know. That's what I was trying to think of. Because the first thing that popped in my head, it's not as much that it's scarier, but it's definitely weirder to me, which is like being in the woods.
You say being or peeing?
Peeing in the woods, because like at night you feel like, okay, no one's gonna get offended by this. There's no, like, everyone's like, whatever. But like, being a Cheeto is a great example. Through the day, we walked all the way around and down and into his basement rather than just hosing over in the woods.
Weed line or whatever.
Right. Because it just feels way weirder to do through the daytime, especially when there's a lot of people around.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. That's true.
But it's not really scarier. It's just, I mean, other than maybe you could catch a case doing it.
Right.
You could get hit for indecent exposure, whereas a lot of times at night, no one really cares for some reason.
Yeah,
I don't
know.
What
it is by the nighttime. People are just like, yeah, just piss wherever you want.
Yeah, but in the daytime, it's like, hey,
what the fuck are you doing?
Come on. I don't know otherwise, though. Yours is really good. I think you nailed it pretty well. Because you're right. If it's the middle of the day and all of a sudden things get real dark, you're like, oh shit, some stuff's blowing in
Better
for
head to the
sure.
old storm cellar that I don't have.
Yeah, yeah. Same here. Well, guess it's time to start praying to Jeebus
This is how I die.
and everybody else, just in
Well, yeah,
case.
it's
You know.
like the mummy.
Yeah.
He's got all those religious necklaces.
Yeah. Here, baby Jesus, Buddha,
Spaghetti
yep.
monsters, whatever.
Spaghetti monster. Yeah, you just cover all the bases. Satan, whatever you got to hit. You know. Lemmy. Yeah. Well, that's why you're having a Jack and Coke.
Well,
So you got to sacrifice.
for sure.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, yeah, I feel bad because I don't feel like I really gave a good answer on this one.
It's kind of a hard one, honestly. You know?
Yeah. It's like when I picked it, I must have thought that I must have had, like, a lot of times, like when I first pick them, I'll have an answer. And for some dumb reason, I don't just like type my answer in there.
Right.
You know, like, because by the time we get to them, I kind of forget that I had it. So then it's still kind of
like fresh,
new to me. Yeah. Instead of just going with whatever my first reaction was.
Fair enough.
You know, yeah. Oh man, here we go. I think this kind of reminded me of our trip actually, which I got one here, which is looking in a mirror.
Oh yeah.
Because through the day you start seeing, like, you know, you see your crow's feet, you see the age lines, you see how white you are, all that kind of stuff. At night it kind of softens all that a little bit, you know.
I mean, I got a taste of that one of the days this week because Michelle's like, oh, I want to do like paint some eyes. She's like, you know, she's like, I took pictures of mine. Can I take pictures of yours? I'm like, yeah, it's fine.
She just pops your eyes out. Yeah.
Thumbed them out like a wrestler.
Oh, wow, that's a lot. I was just thinking using a spoon handle, but yeah, I guess thumbs work too.
So I go back to her little studio and I sit in the chair and she's got, you know, a like a phone or like this mic arm, but for phones.
Yeah.
So she can paint with the phone above, you know.
Oh, right.
And so she gets it all settled up in front of me and then turns on a light and then she's like, all right, and it's like front facing. And she's like, well, look over here. Like, I'm just looking at the phone like, Jesus, look at all those fucking wrinkles. I was like, holy shit.
It's like you're looking at a macro lens at the time.
It's like she wanted me to do something with my eyebrows and the way my head wrinkled up. I'm like, God, it looks like an old man's scrotum. Good Lord.
Why does that nutsack have eyebrows?
Exactly.
Speaking of like a macro lens or close-ups, though, did you see that picture recently where someone did like an extreme close-up of an ant's face?
Terrifying.
Oh my God!
Stuff of nightmares right there.
Yeah, right. It's like, good God.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
I was like, for sure, that's got to be some horror movie coming up now. Someone's got to make up a monster that looks like an ant up close. So yeah,
pull it up real quick.
I'll put a picture in the show notes for anyone who wants to be terrified by it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna pull it up for our video watchers. There you go.
Yeah,
enjoy and be terrified, you freaks.
It's like, not even joking. It's pretty scary looking. Like, you know, I mean, I guess, you know, maybe that looks scarier in the daytime. I don't know.
I mean, I regret all the ants I burned with a magnifying glass when I was a child. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it, guys. I didn't mean it.
You're not, though. Actually, you feel more justified
I meant
now.
Every single one, exactly. I'm doing God's work.
Yeah, they look like demons, of course. You know, so of course you feel, you know.
Yeah, you know, that's got, for an ant, that's got to be like an orbital strike.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. It's got to be pretty weird, though, for sure.
Which, you know, still one of the coolest video game moments ever in Gears of War when you get to call in the orbital strike and direct it.
Yeah.
That's all it is. That's all it is a magnifying glass. I wonder if that was the inspiration for that part of the game.
It might have been. That'd be kind of funny if it was, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I forgot to write that down. All right. Sorry, I just realized I forgot to write something in my notes there.
You're good, bro.
Yep. Oh, man. All right. So there you go. So once again, the question is, what is something that is scarier during the day? Yep. There you go. All right. Well, there you go. Stick around till the end to hear the word of the week. And otherwise, head on over to saltylanguage.com, check out all the links, check out the past episodes. Hopefully we'll be working on some new enthusiasts soon, because we've definitely got at least 2 people we probably can get lined up. So that'll be hopefully good times.
Always a good time.
And but go check out the other ones. There's some great, some really fun interviews we've done, or not even interviews, conversations.
Right.
So I really don't feel like they were interviews. It's not like we sit down and have 20 questions that we ask them.
No, that's true. That's true. Yeah. We just sit down and have a time or anything else.
Right. So go check those out, and you can go check out the network we're part of, which is the Tangent Bound Network, which can be found at tangentboundnetwork.com. If you're a new show looking for a network, or just looking for some help, go talk to them. And if you talk to Mark, I don't know. What do you got this week?
Talk to Mark. Tell him Happy Halloween, because it's right around the corner.
Oh yeah, good point. So yeah. Oh, dude. I forgot 2 things, which was each of the days we hung out with people down there was something that was said that made us guffaw, if you will. And night 1, we were being told about somebody, and they were talking about how, and I believe the phrase was, he's a good guy, but he'll grab a titty.
Right.
You and I laughed very hard, and because just but he'll grab a titty is wow. And the second day was from a friend of Cheeto's, who was referring to, every once in a while, how a lot of us, when you laugh, you get really laugh and then you snort. And he was referring to what made him snort was his snort. Was it snort flap? I believe it was. And I don't know why, but snort flap just tickled me to no end.
As soon as you said it, I think you were like, "Yep, that would be an episode title."
Yeah. And for sure, the night before, if we were recording things, it would have been, but he'll grab a titty.
But he'll grab a ...
Yeah, exactly.
But he'll grab a titty.
But he'll grab a titty. Yeah, because I think a lot of us know somebody like that, which is not good, because you shouldn't be going around grabbing titties.
Exactly.
Without consent, of course. So anyway, back to the other stuff. If you want to reach out to us on social media, you can find the show on Twitter at salty_language. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Stunami.
You can find me on Instagram at the Monotony. Tony, whatever. Twitch.tv/allthebeerspod for all the beers things and stuff. Although I'm trying to decide, I think maybe the short videos I'm going to do, I just might put under our YouTube banner, which is Salty Language Pod on YouTube. If you're watching a video, you're aware of that. If you're not watching a video, why the fuck aren't you watching a video? Give us a like, give us a thumbs up and a subscribe and make a comment. Pump up those numbers, son.
Yeah.
We also got a Patreon. Check us out, Salty Language on Patreon. We have bonus content there. We'll have more bonus content coming. We still got to do the thing I was telling you about, because I got all kinds of stuff set aside. We just haven't had time.
Right.
And, of course, Brian's also got a side gig. Crazy life.
Yeah. Call me on Uber. Oh, what?
Jonathan.
Yeah, Jonathan. No. Yeah, check out my other podcast, The Crazy Life, where we talk about mental health, depression, anxiety, bipolar, recovery, addiction, all that kind of stuff. And it just, as well as just trying to, like the stuff I talked about earlier, where it's like, hey, just, try to reframe things and how to move more toward being less miserable, or, being able to just enjoy life a little more, even in, baby steps versus, you don't have to take gigantic steps, sometimes. So, so if you're down to that, come check out me, Jen, and Henno talking about that, which actually just reminds me, I got to hit them up, because I think we were supposed to record last week and didn't, and I don't think we haven't recorded this week. So I for sure got to light a fire there. Under my own ass, not just theirs, under my own, because I've gotten, a little lackadaisical about
the fires
it. So
are lit. Gondor calls for aid.
Yeah, that too. That from a Dio
I
song?
mean, it for sure could be.
Sounds like it, right? uh, all righty. So this week, the word is, oh man, I got to remember what last week's was.
It was,
Was last week's
yes,
Zuderkins?
that was it.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, when I hear it, I'll know it because I knew it was outrageous.
All right. So similar in sound a little bit. This week is, I don't know if it's Zunderkite or Zounderkite,
Uh,
but it's a Victorian word for idiot.
Zounderkite?
Like, man, how awful is it that they didn't have the word idiot apparently, because it's just a better
Victorian
word.
times. I have a feeling they just had on their like big dumb powdered wigs, they're racked with syphilis.
Yeah.
And they're just trying to make up words so somebody sounds smarter than the people in the streets.
Well, I figure like when you're racked with syphilis, maybe these words sound amazing. Maybe there's something about that. I don't know. Maybe we need to go get some syphilis and find out.
Hit us, hey, any listeners have any syphilis? Hit us up.
Yeah, I mean, we'll come to you just like we did this last week.
Make a road trip out of it.
Yeah, if you're a good enough listener and live close enough, we'll for sure come visit you.
We'll take a little roadie, we'll have some beers, we'll bump nasty.
Get some syphilis. Yeah, you'll get whatever we bring with us. I mean, so.
Was it? Zundergeist?
No, it's either it's like sound, like the word like sound, like sounds, right? Like sound, and then the word kite. Yeah, or that's why I said it sounds cooler if you say Zunderkite. Right? That's me trying to make it sound like it's German or something.
Stupid Victorian people. They don't even know what's cool.
Yeah. So there you go. Enjoy the word for this week and call all the people around you, Zunderkites or Zunderkites. I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce. One thing I wish that it had was an enunciation guide for some of these, because I don't know for sure if I'm just butchering them.
You could probably like paste it into something. It'll be like Zunderkite or whatever.
Yeah. I also feel like I want to name a band Zunderkite.
I wonder something. Grab over here and get a little close so you can hear it. Alexa.
All right.
What is a Zunderkite?
Stephen Lee Bruner, better known by his stage name Thundercat, is an American-based guitarist.
All right, Alexa, that's enough. We're good.
Okay, so here we go.
Shut your face. Sorry.
It still doesn't tell you how to pronounce it, unfortunately. But Urban Dictionary actually has it. It says it's from German descent, an adjective that somebody mistyped describes, but describes a person whose idiot conduct results in mistakes. I'm not going to read a word they use as a descriptor in there. But it says, because Jake treated Jackie like proper crap, she rejected him when he asked her out. What is undercut?
Huh. It might be interesting to plug these into Urban Dictionary, see what comes up in the future.
In the future. Yeah. Oh, how to pronounce Zunderkite in German, huh? All right, well. Oh my God, there's actually a brewery called No Pants Brewery that has a beer by this name.
I mean, I'm cool with that.
Yeah. All right. Let's see if I can hear this. Zounderkita.
Yeah.
All
right. Zounderkita.
All right. Zounderkita. That sounds way cooler. Okay. Calling somebody that sounds way more like an insult. Zunderkite does not. So I'm glad it's Zounderkita. All right.
That's fun.
All right. So there you go. So make sure you go around and call everybody Zounderkitas this weekend.
Bunch of Zounderkitas.
Right. And until next time, have a beer, you'll be fine.
Like, stay salty and stuff.